Well, hello there, everybody. Just as promised on yesterday's stream, I said that anybody who was here early would get some of this delicious, sweet, soft-spoken goodness, where there's no BS, there's no CS, and there's definitely no DS. And we just enjoy ourselves nice and early on. So I hope everybody's had a lovely little day, and it's going to be a bit of an interesting stream today because I actually have a lovely fellow who should be arriving at my door at some point between 5 PM and 6 PM. Now, if you don't know, these streams go out at 5 PM. I'm currently speaking to you at 4:57, and that just ticked over on the dial right there from 56 to 57. And so, at some indeterminate point in the future, Mr. Wooden Potatoes is going to have to leave. Hopefully only for a few minutes. Oh my god! Jesus Christ, you've ruined it, Black Dragon. Christ on a stick. All right. Whoa. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another stream. Hopefully, we should have a good one today. Hopefully, a little bit less of the old World of Warcraft classic discussion. Not to say that it's off the table, but if anybody wants to add anything, then they're welcome to. But we've got lots of cool stuff going on. Quick little intro there for you all. Now, for those who didn't catch it a minute ago when we very first started, I've got a delivery coming. So at some point, I'm literally going to poo myself because I get very nervous about these things. And my doorbell's going to go. And you're going to hear the doorbell go, and you're going to hear me freak the hell out, and then I'm going to mute, and like an incredibly unprofessional little monkey, I'm going to have a moment where I leave. I don't even have an AFK screen set up on stream. I don't really like streams where they go AFK. I think it's always a big risk. But anyway, so that's going to be happening, and hopefully I won't be AFK for very long, like 3-4 minutes tops. And I'm anticipating that scary moment to happen within the hour. Woo! So we'll have to keep our ears to the ground on that one. So I hope you guys are all doing all right. I'm thirsty as all hell. No coffee today, though. Just a can of Coke. And yeah, hopefully we're all doing good. So by the way, Black Dragon, the sub earlier, thank you very much. That was very lovely of you. I don't know if you guys on your end, that audio is actually that loud, but on my end, it was extremely loud. Broke the ASMR, so what can I say? So yes, Benji. So someone in chat, right? Benji, just so that everybody knows, says, WP, I won a sealed Prophecies Collector's Edition. For people that don't know, I actually have a Prophecies Collector's Edition, but I've never looked through it. I want to do like a blind unboxing of it at some point. And I did a Nightfall one, but I didn't, and that was just before I moved. And now I have no way of like filming a top-down scenario like that, which sucks. So I've not sort of returned to it. And my idea was to do the factions one and then to do the prophecies one blind in front of everyone, but I haven't done it. So that's still sort of hanging for me. But the prophecies one I've got, like any really that you buy, is secondhand. Obviously, it's a kind of it's a popular game. It's kind of that perfect place to be a genuine rarity for a game, because it's a popular game, but it's not an insanely popular game, such that you'd find tons of those boxes were pushed out everywhere, right? You know, it's not like buying Legendary Edition Halo 3 or something, right? Or Halo Reach with the big helmet and stuff, which, while being rare and expensive, they're not that rare. They're mostly expensive just because lots of people are fans of the franchise. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is Prophecies Collector's Editions are tricky to find. And if you find one, it's going to be pre-owned. Benji's found a sealed one. Has never even been touched. I feel a bit like, when I think about my excitement for that, I feel a bit like that fat Cheetos guy from Toy Story 2, who just wants Jessie and Woody and Stan Compete to sit in a museum forever behind glass. I think that looking back at Toy Story 2, it's actually very like prejudiced against that method of enjoying toys. I know that sounds really weird, right? But it's very anti-museums, isn't it? And I think that movie somehow stuck with me. So I don't know. So Twitch, should Benji open it? Should he break the seal and pop it? So the other thing is, mine's open, and the one thing I know I don't have, even without opening it specifically to look inside, because I want to do that blind on a video at some point, the Prophecies Collector's Edition I've got, I'm pretty sure doesn't have a headset with it. So one of the big things that this game released with the Collector's Edition was a headset. And also, funnily enough, I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly, it's got a TeamSpeak like prepaid card for a TeamSpeak server for you, or something like that. So I wonder whether that still works if Benji were to open it fully. Anyway, and so the other thing I wanted to ask is, you say you won it. Well, where did you win it? Who's doing that as a giveaway these days? Was it a Guild Wars based giveaway? Is this because I'm just incredibly out of the loop with all the dev streaming and stuff, which I really feel like I am? So yesterday we hosted them on Extra Life. There was the whole thing I was told yesterday about Jebro shaving their heads and things. But I've been told a few other things as well. So I had an amazing Discord message, and I hope that they don't mind me reading it out. Who was it? It was Lemony. All right, Lemony. Hopefully this isn't a breach of privacy. So Lemony said this to me. Now I can't verify any of it, which sucks, and I don't know whether anyone captured it. So we only have this information because of Lemony here. But Lemony says this. Hey, WP, here with some interesting tidbits. Matthew Medina. He's the story writer. This is Barefoot Matthew. This is the guy that doesn't wear shoes and is responsible for the invisible shoes in the game and all that kind of stuff, right? I wonder whether that annoys him, that's primarily what he's known as. But mind you, that's his online name, so he must be alright with it on some level. Anyway, he was the story lead designer on Path of Fire, okay? He was in one of the big prominent positions for POF, right? And so he did a live stream. He didn't save the VOD, so we don't really know what was said, and nobody captured the VOD, so it was basically just whoever was there. However, so he did it on his own personal Twitch channel, but it was with the Extra Life banner and all of that. Lemony goes on to say that apparently the Balthazar fight went through the hands of like 5 different designers. The Departing instance had some sort of puzzle mechanic for uncovering the recap, which was removed because it made the instance far too long, which makes sense. You know, the bit where you're following the bird, basically. And I can understand that. And now it feels like that section of the story is a bit too passive, actually. And it would have been weird to split the instance in half, I guess. I don't know. And why are they worried about that these days, actually? Because they've got the tech to put a checkpoint mid-instance, don't they? I wonder if they're still wrestling with how to use that and what actually is an appropriate usage of that. Going on, Lemony says that the second step, where you can choose the order to accomplish different tasks, was a very big challenge. So right at the start, the bit where you get the decision about who to help Amnoon, apparently that was a big challenge. I don't know what that means or whether that goes further. In the end, Matthew himself worked on the first 3 big instances. That was Sparking the Flame, the Night of Fires, and Sacrifice. So Sparking the Flame is the opening instance. Night of Fires is that very Guild Wars 1 instance where you're attacking the Forged Camp, and then the Cormyr Temple stuff with Kazmir. And Sacrifice is the Death of Last, I think. Moving on. Lemony says that on the stream we talked a little bit about the tone of Guild Wars 2. And Matthew said that while Guild Wars 2 is never going to be Witcher 3 levels of dark, that some new hires could take the story in a darker direction. So there's this is Chinese whispers here, so I don't really know how this was discussed. I like the sound. I agree with that, though. You know, I've always been someone that I've talked about this quite a lot, and I've always been very careful to say, you know, like, you can't shift it that hard. This game's never going to become, you know, something else. So there is a limit to how dark they can take the tone. And even in Guild Wars 1, where it was very dark, it was in weird places that were easy to miss, such as, you know, the bleached bones or whatever, or really digging into the background in the Canthan story and stuff. Well, I don't know. Nightfall was pretty blatantly dark, I will say. But it had a lot of light to counterbalance it, which is sort of, I don't know. I think that contrast helped it a lot. Anyway, we don't have to get into all that. Moving on, Lemony says that in chat he pointed out that he thought the later half of Act 3 was weak in terms of narrative. So he said to this narrative designer, I think that the later half of Act 3 was weak. And specifically that the building the army part of the Awakened was very tropey, and he agreed. I don't know whether I agree with that, actually. I don't know whether it's that... I mean, it was kind of formulaic, and it wasn't necessarily pushing the boundaries, but I don't know how devastating of a criticism really something being tropey is. You know, if you guys watch me a lot, you'll know I believe this in storytelling. Tropes are tools, right? That's a pretty cliche, bog-standard thing to say, but I do stand by it. There's nothing wrong with being tropey. I do think the execution was weak, though. And I think it's just because it wasn't padded out enough. And they sort of threw a bit too much too quickly at us. Anyway, I did, however, praise the careful/clever writing that did a lot of the heavy lifting in the way forwards. So, the way forward, I can't remember what instance that is, but that was something Lemony liked. Matthew said that the way forward was very difficult to get right, and that getting the dialogue to work took a couple of years off the writer's life. Crap, what's the way forward then? I can't remember. Took a couple of years off his life, Jesus. I think Matthew intends to do another stream at some point, but seemed very vague about it all. Chat was pretty quiet, and I was the one that typed a lot, but he was very frank and open about my critiques and my praise for Path of Fire's story. I would watch out again if he'll do it again. Also, as a side note, they're definitely bundling the next raid and Fractal with the premiere of Season 4. No! Triple release? Oh. Shoot me. Triple release? Really? Oh, the way forward is Kesho. I don't know, though. Kesho was like... I mean, if we go into a discussion about that instance, it would be off the top of my head, and therefore shit. But as far as I remember, Kesho was just another... It was a lot like the Miss instance, but without a lot of the spectacle. Well, it did have a lot of spectacle as well. But it was mostly just a really compact, upfront way of bringing what was still vaguely in the realm of theorycraft into the world of fact. And hey, this is what the story is. No, the story is about replacing elder dragons with other creatures. We're not hinting at this anymore. We're not suggesting at this. It's not something you'll just see people online proposing. This is the story, and let's be very blunt about that. That's what Kesho was, right? Particularly when we look at the end cutscene, as far as I remember anyway. And it did some good stuff as well, tying a connection through the Exalted, obviously, between Heart of Thorns and this story. Anyway, so yeah, I thought that was all really interesting. And it's a shame that there is no VOD. I don't know whether we'll ever get to see him talking about that stuff. If he's not a streamer, then I don't think it's announced by default and enabled by default. And maybe that's why he didn't do it. I just spilled Coke all over myself. I'm actually, like... Christ. Right. So anyway, there's that. Scrolling down. So yeah, we hear about another thing. Cossage earlier in stream said, I'm curious to check the lengthy dev stream, as in the raid portion, Byron hinted at some plot stuff written in chat. Probably just jokingly, without intending it to be taken seriously. But it was still very fun. And it was about the forgotten prisoner from Bastion. Oh, dude, if the next raid wing touches on that prisoner, that political prisoner... Oh, no, it was a Jotun political prisoner, wasn't it? So I don't know. Wow. Yeah, I feel out of the loop, man. What can I say? I feel out of the loop. Damn. So what else is there? I need to check the livestream stuff in more detail at some point, as folks did point out how some of the lore reveals and hints from Bobby and Matt had juicy stuff in it. Do you remember if it was the earlier portions of the long stream or the later half? So apparently we're not talking about... We're talking about the main stream again now. What I do remember from some older dev reveals was that they did consider shipping Logan and Ellen at some point, but now Ellen seems to have a potential new paramour. Wait, what? They were going to have those two hook up? Man, I don't want to talk about that. That's so... Ugh, why? What's the point? It just seems to me that that's spinning around. That's playing pin the tail on the donkey, just throwing stuff around in early Living World Season 1 days. Anyway, maybe there's something deeper, some deeper reason in that. Oh, okay. So Mr. Orville also won a sealed Prophecies Collector's Edition. And it was from hosting ArenaNet yesterday. So wait, I hosted ArenaNet and then they did the giveaway. Man, they did it themselves. What? So they still have sealed Prophecies Collector's Editions. And two of you won one. I'm actually jealous of you guys. I'm actually sincerely jealous. I have my own one that I spent quite a lot of money for. But I'm such a loser. Man, so does that mean you get the code as well for the special, like, glowy dances and stuff? Damn. You're imagining WP as Scott Pilgrim now, sitting by the door waiting for Amazon. I'm very close to the door. Well, ish. Alright, anyway, scrolling. My brother has Guild Wars 1 Prophecies in pristine condition and he wants to throw it away. Throw it away? Why? Keep it the next 50 years and sell it for thousands of monies. Okay, if a Guild Wars 3 becomes a thing and it's very successful, blah, 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 then you can sell it for monies in 50 years. If not, probably not. Oh, they gave away 5 of them. What? At $15,000 value? So, I'm sorry. 15,000. Divided by 5. You're telling me a sealed Prophecies collector's edition is worth $3,000? Really? I don't know whether I actually believe that. $3,000? I mean, that's all well and good, but unless you point me to some sales of some people actually spending $3,000 on it. But wow. It was at Milestones for Extra Life, says Benji, confirming there. Up to this point, I didn't even donate, so I had to after. You donated to Extra Life, yeah? Well, that's good. This new potato cam is magnificent. It is very good, isn't it? It is very good. Oh, God, there's too many questions. You guys post too quick. I hate this. This is so bad, because I get caught in these weird feedback loops where I'm just... Not a feedback loop, but I'm just caught behind you all. And I want to give people long answers, but it just makes things worse. Gears to Gnomes said, the question if the devs take the community feedback to Timey's sold everything problem in Season 3 answered Bobby Stein with that. Yes, they get it that she was overused and it can be damaged and it can damage her character. So we will see if Timey in S4 is better represented. Also, her illness is something that they want to expand on, and it's something that defines Timey. That's interesting. I wonder about the illness thing. What do you guys think? Because, like, on the one hand, I don't want to feel like Timey is there to tick a box, like a diversity checkbox, right? Or and that, you know, they need to use this disability for as something for people who have their own disabilities to latch onto or whatever. I don't want to think about anything that might potentially be artificial. And so in a lot of ways, I feel like I don't want the game to really make it a big part of her character. But on the other hand, maybe if it's a part of her character but they never utilize it, maybe that's even worse. That maybe that somehow makes it more superficial than anything else. So I wonder where the line is there. It's kind of like the difference between putting, whether it's a TV, a book, or whatever, putting like an openly, ridiculously, flamboyantly gay character in there that serves no purpose. The fact that they're gay serves no purpose, offers nothing. It's just clearly done to like pander to a demo, and that's it, right? And it feels sloppy and it feels cheesy and blah blah blah, or, you know, insert whatever checkbox you like, opposed to, and the reason I use gay as the example is because off the top of my head, if you've ever played The Last of Us, there's another way that often gets quite a lot of praise. There's a character in The Last of Us who's like this badass guy. You know, it's the end of the world, so he's a bit messed up, and, you know, everyone's got their demons and so forth. But there's this really like cool dude, and you just so happen to later realize that like all his porn mags are just like of naked men, and there's like a funny sweet moment a bit later on in a car where you realize, oh, that dude was gay. And it's like, so that's the opposite way, where it's like, yeah, this is part of the character, but it does not define their entire existence, which also somehow I think is sort of the more is less of a tacky way to do things. But then there's a question of, well, what did it serve in the first place? I don't really know the answer to that. And so it's kind of similar with Timey's like you know, disability. That is the word, right? So I wonder. I don't know. I guess it depends how they do it. The big question, will Season 4 start before or after Christmas? If it's not until January, rip. Do you think they're going to wait until January to do a triple release? I think I would vomit at that. Actually, that might be good for the... selfishly minded, that might be good for the competition, but that can't be good for the scene. I hope it's not till January. I don't want a triple release, though. I really don't want a triple release. Why are they doing a triple release? Nightbot is back today, guys, by the way, so cool stuff there. My God. I mean, I should be excited, I guess. Every part of the game gets an update. Do I need a bib, WP? Yes, I do. Oh my God, can you imagine? If you've got a Hall of Monuments link on your account, Dankoro's ghost says that your spirit feels familiar. Do you think that the commander is the Guild Wars 1 character reborn? It would explain why they are chosen. Yeah, well, I don't remember exactly anymore, but the dialogue around the Hall of Monuments does kind of suggest that there's like some spiritual link between you, some ancestral kind of like primal force between the two, because obviously the early one can be a human, the later one can be a char, so you can't necessarily have like a genetic heritage going on, like a tangible one, but you can have like one, a realm of magic, like a metaphysical one, and that's what they hint at. I did not realize that that familiar spirit thing was based on a Hall of Monuments connection. Is that true? Is that what determines that? I assumed it would have been on everything. That is so unbelievably genius and fucking awesome if that is true. If they actually look at a Hall of Monuments connection to change dialogue, that would be so cool. And I know exactly what line you're talking about. Orville says, I plan to add the Divine Aura to my account, finally after 13,000 hours played. Dude, that's a lot of Guild Wars 1 hours. Or are you counting both games together? I'm scared, guys. I'm looking for a car. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. Oh, okay, so it was a giveaway for when they got 15,000 on Extra Life. Right. I see. Well, I look like an idiot now. Yeah, I mean, Nike sums it up reasonably well there. Nike, you seem a bit twisted up on these past two streams. But he says, ArenaNet ham-fisting diversity into Guild Wars 2 thinking. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, basically. Do you want to, you don't want them to just ham-fist this, like, thing in. The reason I feel they added the illness to Timey was to justify Timey riding a golem, which was... Why? No, but they didn't need to justify her riding a golem. They've had Asura riding golem before. And frankly... It's an Asura. It's a tiny little creature that needs... I mean, I don't know whether you guys have distinct memories, but I remember being a little boy of maybe 5 or 6 years old, walking around town with my arsehole father, who was a big, tall adult with very long legs, and he did not give a shit about slowing down for my little baby legs. And I remember being a short person struggling to keep up, like majorly struggling, like having to basically power walk and get, you know, knackered just to keep up with the casual stride of the people around me. Now, I would guess that as an Asura, that's just the world. And if I could ride on a golem, I don't have to be disabled to then make that decision, do I? So I don't know. The nice thing is that if they wanted, they could use restorative fields of the Mordrum pod to cure her degenerative disease, as that fluid seems to... I mean, I think there could be a good story in it, right? Let's just to rewind everything. I think there could be a good story in it. I reckon it could be pretty cool, quite sad to realize that this thing is, you know... to really dive into it, it's like messing her life up, you know. I think that'd be cool. And they score like a double pocket as well, because everyone who hates Timey would have like this kind of twatish, arrogant, haha, yeah, she's getting hurt, she's leaving the story, screw her thing, which, you know, is a win from some respect. Those people would be happy. And on the other hand, you might get people really emotionally invested in that character who also like it. So you get the double, you attack it from both ends. It's great. It's efficient. To impress new players that came with Path of Fire, they're going to bring a degenerative disease back into prominence of one of their characters to impress new players that came with Path of Fire. Or are you talking about a different thing? You genuinely don't understand why Raid is bundled with Living Story. It makes the game feel like it has more frequent content update if they space them out. Absolutely. I agree. Absolutely. And I don't believe there is such a hard divide between Raiders and Living Story people. I believe that... if you did a Living World release, if you did a raid release and then a week later you did a Living World one, a lot of those raiders would take the time to play through it. However, if you do a double release, I don't know, it just feels like, what's the point in bundling it all together? I agree with the idea we had on a previous stream. Announce it all at once and then roll it out 1 week between each. I think that'd be good. What would be the optimum order, guys? Fractal 1 week, Living World next week, Raid 3rd week? Raid 1st week, Living World 2nd week, Fractal 3rd. What's the best order? Does anybody have any prominent thoughts on it? Probably Raid would come first, because we've had a Fractal recently, and we've had Living World, and, you know, Living World-like content. I go the expansion, so... Hashtag WP Tough Life. Wait, what? Oh, is that me wondering... when did I say... What, the story of me walking around? Yeah, so tough walking around, guys. Do you think that player-made content could invigorate the MMO scene again? It's been pretty stagnant for a while now. Absolutely, man. I actually believe that if there is a future for the classically believed MMO, I actually believe it's emergent, dynamic content. I know those are kind of buzzwordy, but I believe essentially it's a game that is... I still believe in theme park MMOs, but I believe it would have significant sandbox elements, and Guild Wars 2 moved away from a lot of that stuff in the name of convenience for its players, but I believe there are less stories to be told than we used to have in older MMOs. Like, one of the reasons why I'm so excited about New World, and we haven't heard about something from it for so long, so who knows if it will still be a thing, but kind of integrating that idea of content that emergently is created through, like, the phenomenon of people playing and how they connect that with Twitch. I really think there could be some incredibly powerful stuff in that. And, you know, I'm not making any actual propositions here, but I just think that at its core, stuff like that is... If there's any future for the traditional MMO as we think of it, it's probably stuff like that. It needs to generate its own stuff that's always interesting. Anyway, finally getting towards the end here. Scroll. If raid comes first, it's kind of no new content for players that don't raid. While if Living World / Fractal go first, it's more players that'll play it. I don't know whether I really like that argument, though. Because I've always been a big believer that just because a player doesn't participate in an aspect of the game, it doesn't mean they're not affected by an aspect of the game, right? And I got a lot of egg on my face in years past when I went out on the record and wrongly for this. But like legendary weapons, right? When it looked like they weren't going to add any more, or they weren't going to do any more high-end itemization and stuff like that. You know, I made the point that just because you might not get the legendary, it doesn't mean that... It still does a lot for the game to have those potential goals there, to have things to envy that other people have, skills that other people have, items that other people have, wealth that other people have. Stuff like that I think is actually really important, and I do think it trickles down through the rest of the community. So even if only a small slice of the community raids, I think that enough people fancy themselves as a potential raider or as someone vaguely interested in watching raiding related content, or, you know, it doesn't, I still think it counts for something, even if that person ultimately never steps foot in the format. So I don't know whether I really agree that it should just be done based on quantities like that. Maybe that's why they're so scared of releasing raids on their own. Maybe because, and you know, the community would have done it to themselves. What is the content drought, guys? Someone tell me in chat, what is the content drought? Let's hear what's somebody's answer as to what the content drought is. Because I'll tell you what, you're probably going to say, oh, it was a period of 9 months after Heart of Thorns where there was no content that went into the game. And that's complete bollocks. That's Bologna. That's Bologna sauce. We all know it. Because, friggin', there were 3 raid wings that came out in that period of time. And substantial PvP changes as well. Oh. I think I've caught the delivery before it goes on. Thorman says the 9 months before Heart of Thorns. Well pointed out. A lot of people forget that too. So yeah, I don't know, man. I think that I think that the community might have done it to themselves, because ArenaNet get like, no kudos for any effort of having gone into the game at that point, but there was actually a lot that went in at that point. It was when we got a shite ton of puns and complaining, and we, the fans, piss ourselves with laughter. When the content well is empty. Alright, oh look, I've caught up, guys, with chat now. Slow start to the stream. So I'm going to do my AFK thing now, and I'll just be back in like literally like 5 minutes, okay? So I apologize, but then we'll get in game. We're going to do a guild hall upgrade. We're going to do some other cool stuff. And I've got some other things to talk about. I have a discussion for us all. Ooh. So that should be fun. And I'll see you guys very, very, very shortly. Should we watch a video in the meantime? Let's watch a video. I have no idea what video is going to autoplay, so I'm a bit scared of that. But let's see. So we'll watch a video and leave me comments about it. And I'll be back to look at them very juicy very, very, very soon. Let's see. What video do you guys want? I'll see. WP, the lip smacking way to wake up in the morning. Have I been lip smacking a lot? The content drought was half expansion Mike's heyday. Alright, okay guys, seriously, I've got to go. Alright, guys, I'm back. Yeah, look, check it out. The Gamescom demo and the Shatterer. So this is credits to one of the... Wait, what is his actual job title? Anyway, a guy that now works at NCSoft, who captured this stuff, did some of the best early Guild Wars content on the scene. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant stuff associated with the website wartower.de. And yeah, so a cool insight into the old... So what weapon is that, guys? It's got scepter abilities on it, and it's got staff abilities on it. So yeah, it's... No, yeah, new raid boss. But yeah, you got energy potions there and all of that kind of stuff. So speaking of WoW Classic, this is what Guild Wars Classic would be. It would be the energy potion version of the game, where like talismans and stuff have a different role in terms of items and all that kind of stuff. Anyway, I just thought I'd bung that on there. All right, so let's get in game, I guess, finally. And let's see what we can do, shall we? Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. Let me just check the comments one final time. Oh, well, B-Boy, we don't have so much viewership today at all, so let's just do one, yeah? If you'd like to. Let's just do one. We're going to do a giveaway at one point on this stream, guys. Do you think we could do, like, a long-term one? Or what do you want to do there, B-Boy? Just, I'm trying to think of, you know, saving as much money for the guild as possible because it's going to run out. So let's see. I need to, like, get as much space on screen for this as possible. Let's see, what else did people say? Is this the final raid LFG in Legion? It was energy mana bar, omg potions. I remember hating the idea so much. Yeah, everybody hated them. Everybody. You wish Phoenix on staff was a thing? I know, it's weird, isn't it? It is very weird. This doesn't have, like, convention audio in the background, does it? It has a clean feed. Can you guys even hear me? All right, well, look, let's just go gameplay. Hopefully this works. Has your life-size Lissa cardboard cutout arrived, WP? Absolutely. She now watches over me. Now, you might think cardboard cutout. Right, he's probably just going to put it on the floor in one of his rooms. No. I'm actually hanging it from the ceiling above my bed. Okay? You know, a bit like how Cordicus has that mirror to watch himself sleep at night. I'm actually doing that with the Lissa cutout. And in this way, she watches over my dreams. And I never feel alone in my big empty bed. Maybe advertise the stream. Well, I don't want to tweet or anything. I did in game and I did on Discord. But Sunday streams I like to be a bit more chill anyway. So let's just say there's no rush, B-Boy, right? And besides, I can't. Well, once I've started streaming, it's annoying to churn out a YouTube video. So I'd rather not. It makes me wonder how Lissa would be represented in game if she appeared. Would they go with the concept of a singular being or show with the concept art or show some things conjoined? I think they'd probably just go with like one of the statue depictions from Prophecies or something, or concept art from Prophecies, which, yeah, would be two women entwined at the base. The Gribble Girl says I have a full-size Loki next to my bed. Really? Really? Well, I don't know what to say about that. Alright, let's turn the game audio on. Sorry, guys. You've been listening to nothing but my voice this entire time. That cannot be pleasant. There you go. What do you think about that, guys? Beauty, isn't it? We have a hologram in the area, apparently. Right, so, yes, there's going to be a guild hall upgrade. Now, I'm going to make a squad just for people who potentially want to participate in that. I'm going to do it at the end of the stream, so the maximum number of you can get in as possible. Now, I did say in guild chat earlier that I'm streaming and... I'm going to do an upgrade. What we're going to build up is the workshop. So the mine we can't currently build up in any way, but the workshop we will be able to. So we will grab that. Now, I've already done my daily and Halloween daily for today, so we don't have to worry too much about those. But if I come over here, we should see that we have everything we need. And this is just to be completely clear in my own head. Oh, no, this is the market. Well, we could establish the market as well. Do you guys want to do that? No, yeah, workshop. Market restoration 1, workshop restoration 1. Huh. Whatever this is, we're going to get this. All right? We're going to do this. It's on EU, but it doesn't matter whether it's EU or NA. It's completely irrelevant. Whichever one, because it will happen in both halls at once. It's just you're not physically going to see me on you know, if you're on the wrong thing. Black Dragon said can't hear the in-game sound still. Because it is there. I can see it's transmitting. So just keep going. Do I have any legendaries? If so, which ones? I have all of the elementalist ones except Bolt and the Shining Blade. Because they didn't do a Gen 2 Warhorn yet, did they? Oh, maybe, you know, I could do even fallen further out than that. Have they? They didn't do a Gen 2 Dagger. They didn't do a Gen 2 Scepter. They didn't do a Gen 2 Focus. Wow, has Ellie had no new weapons for Gen 2 yet? Except Sword, which just came with Weaver. WP in a PC store. Whatever this is, I'll take it. Yep. We're just going to go for it, guys. Alright, now. I wanted to do the Vabby meta. But this is a fairly quiet stream, so I don't know whether we'll have enough people for it. So, for now... And this could potentially look embarrassing, but what the hey? It doesn't matter. Anyone on EU wants to do the... Oh, yeah, but then it's got a long... Oh, no, don't screw that. I don't want to do that because it's got a really long-ass wind-in and stuff, doesn't it? Let's do something else instead. Let's do this first. Let's start this off because this will be easy to do while I discuss something with you guys. And the topic that I'm going to discuss is me quitting YouTube. So it's very important. I've decided to go full-time on Twitch. I'm not going to increase the stream schedule or anything. I'm still only going to do 2 hours a day on the weekend. But yeah, what do you guys think? Is that a good plan? Do you think I should do that? In the meantime... With some metal to reinforce it, this chair could become a shield. So we've got the chair, and then there's an anvil. If I had a way to swing it, there's forged ammunition. I need something that I can genuinely just, like, relax about while I do this. Obviously, that's a joke, guys. Do it, says Moxling. Moxling, you give terrible advice, man. Truly, truly terrible advice. Alright, so, here's the discuss. It's, pretty interesting, I think. Wait, what happens here? That's just for the heart, and I don't care about doing that for the heart. So we'll pick up the anvil to swing it, and then we'll find like some wood or something to swing it. And then we'll deposit the weapon somehow. Flax, forged ammunition, weapon crate, forged ammunition. So these don't actually have names under them. So here's metal though, right? These scraps. So the scraps is what I was supposed to combine with the other thing earlier. And what was the other thing I had earlier? So that's an anvil, which we don't need. We wanted like a chair, didn't we? This saw blade could be fashioned into a makeshift bow with some string. Oh, this is too dialogue heavy. Makeshift bow. It was something I picked up over here, wasn't it? Oh yeah, we can mount with this as well, right? It doesn't drop him? No, it doesn't drop him. Man, that raptor noise I already, you know, have some positive associations with. Okay, let me go in here. Alright, we'll just start the discussion, screw it. And I'll let you guys chat away. Right, so. Guild Wars 2 subreddit. So basically, as you guys know, the Mad King's Clocktower is really, really difficult. Super challenging. Almost impossible. Only one person in every 200 or so is capable of completing it. Insanely challenging stuff. You only have a small window of opportunity to get at it each year. Alright? So. So here's a Reddit discussion. Where someone said, I would be a mediocre player if it took me several Halloween festivals to figure out the Clocktower. They say to themselves, I would be a mediocre player if it took me several Halloween festivals to figure out the Clocktower. They get a response saying, lol, yeah, less than mediocre. Some mental deficiency more like, smiley face. Like Alzheimer's, smiley face. And that got quite heavily downvoted, minus 24. Okay, moving on. The original person comes back and says, you'd be surprised by some people at the moment. They take an insanely long route only to die from fall damage. Then, when you offer to show a quick and safe route, they're of course like, nah, I'm good. I'll keep trying and dying like a mindless fool. So, if you're not reading this conversation very well as I read it out loud, they're both being incredibly high-horsey. And so then the guy responds again, and he says, listen, I'm afraid that wouldn't surprise me, unhappy face. Year after year, I keep reading about proud individuals who, and I quote, after years of trying, I have finally beaten the Clocktower work. I mean, years? Dude, I need one attempt, and I don't even try too hard. First year, it took me 30 minutes of trying to beat it, and that's just because there wasn't any tutorials, and you had to figure out where and when. The arcade part of it was never a problem. Some guy posted a video tutorial the other day. A tutorial that lasts 33 minutes. People, if it takes you 5 years for a jumping puzzle, then try to understand that jumping puzzles simply aren't for you. All caps, realize that. There's no shame in that. I can't swim, for example, so I keep my black ass out of the pool. Sometimes it takes courage and wisdom just to know when to quit. Everything else is plain stupid. So, there's the sentiment. Now, I baited you, Twitch chat. I baited you on this because what I did was I opened my little discussion here on Twitch, okay? You know, getting you all to brag about how easy the Clocktower is, right? And I got a couple of you. I did see that, right? But now we have this person who's basically saying, yeah, if you're not good at it, then you suck and you should feel bad. How do we feel about that? What do you guys think? What do you think about this sentiment that people just aren't suited to JPs and should just give the hell up? What was this idea of a quitting culture? What do you think also, as I read that out to you there, that long message about, you know, realize that you're not good at JPs, and I can't believe that someone needs a 30-minute tutorial and it only took me 30 minutes at the best of times and blah blah blah. What do you think that is sitting at upvote wise? Do you think that people have reacted positively to that or negatively to that? And I mean, really think about it. So this is sort of the broader Reddit community, if there even can be said to have one. What do you guys think? Do you think that's a nice comment? And don't cheat. If you've seen it already, because you follow Guild Wars dev track or whatever, you're cheating. Because yes, the dev will respond to this, which I'll read you all in a second. I just want to, you know, let's engage our own brains for a second and think about what was said there. You know? This sucks. This is not like bounties. Bounties were good, really good stream material, because I could play and I could make progress and chat with you. This is just awful. I can't find anywhere a chair while I'm chit-chatting. That's a chair, isn't it? Yeah, look, this guy's jumping up and down. Make a shield using the chair. Yes, we did it. Sweet. Now we need to do it again. All right, so what are people saying? Yeah, Dev did respond to that. The negative... it should be downvoted because Reddit are emotional, unstable whiners. I think you sound like a moron there. Generalizing the broader Guild Wars 2 Reddit community is like quite a tricky thing to do. But if it makes you easy to just label them as emotional, unstable whiners, presumably because you've posted something before and been shouted at for it, then go you. You do you, Thorum. Gribble Girl says, I'm crap at JPs. It doesn't bother me that I'm crap at them, so it doesn't bother me that I can't do it, but it annoys me that people are arses. So what's arsey about that comment? Is it not smart of him to read the room and say, do you know what? Alright, look, there's another chair. Immediately we find another chair, so let's grab that. Is it not kind of smart of him to say, yeah, screw it, man. You suck at it. Just leave it. Give it up. Realize it. Get over it. People need to realize they can't have everything in life, and that includes achievements in Guild Wars 2. This is really weird to see. Do I have the shield now? I think I have a shield. Weapon crate. Oh, no. What? I thought I just picked up scrap metal. What do I have here? Oh, it's a rope. There was a rope I just picked up. Shit. Okay, well, so I need a saw for that then. So where's the saw that I found a second ago? Is this a saw? There we go. There's a saw here. So rope plus saw equals bow, I believe. Oh, look, and we can even fire it. Why do they allow it to... Did they let us block with the other ones and stuff? That's interesting. Okay. The nice thing is that Guild Wars 2 jumping offers different puzzles, different difficulties. Let's contextualize this discussion, guys. It's not that someone's saying, oh my god, it's too hard. That's not what this discussion began with. This person's just saying, don't bother practicing. Don't bother trying at something. If you're not good at it, just quit. That's what this is. This isn't coming on the heels of someone whining saying that they should make the Clocktower easier for them or whatever. It's not prompted by that. This is just someone going out there saying, oh, look, I can do it easily, you can't, so just give up, mate. That's what the sentiment is. So these people saying, I know some of your responses in chat I think are a bit off. If it did legit take someone years, they probably shouldn't do JPs. No way, failing over and over could be fun for years. Yeah, but I mean, it's kind of one of those funny things. People say years, but it's not really years, is it? It's just spread over years. It's like saying I've been playing since launch when really you've been... If I had something heavy, this branch would be good. So if I find an anvil to go with this branch... so, you know, I think that's... No one's really arguing that someone spent years doing the Clocktower, right? But they're saying that, you know, year one, they tried it once or twice and failed. Then they came back year two. And don't forget, you get rusty. Everything you learn in year one is now sort of thrown to the wayside. So there you go, Junkyard Weaponsmith. That's the first hammer I've made. Jesus. And now I just need to make 6 more after we hand this one in. There is some hardware and Wi-Fi things. Yeah, actually, I failed the clock tower today. Again, jumping at the clock face after it got struck. But I was on NA, and I'm pretty sure the lag there is annoying. No, the RC comment is about people being deficient. Being honest is being an ass in today's weird world. I don't see... See, Thorman, what's going on, man? Engage your brain for a second. Of course being honest can be an arse. Just because you're being truthful, it doesn't trump all politeness and all social, you know, etiquette. No, no one's ever believed... If you believe you live in a world where absolute, perfect, brutal honesty at all times is somehow not being an arse, I mean, that's one of the most, like, obscene, like, I don't actually go in the real world comments you can have on the internet, right? Like, that's ridiculous. Sometimes you have to, you know, tell your girlfriend that she doesn't look fat in that dress, or that your boss's breath doesn't smell disgustingly of coffee, or X, Y, and Z. You know, that's not weird. That's life, man. Being honest doesn't mean you're not a twat. You can be a twat and be honest at the same time. Understanding that distinction is like 90% of what it means to be a functioning social human being. People can be honest without being arseholes. Exactly. I give up after a while because I play to have fun, but that doesn't make me a mediocre player. That's what I meant about people being arses. Never quit, lacking ambition. I feel like you can be pretty good if you don't quit at something and manage to do it. I failed for years at Clocktower. Give up on your dreams, says Philanor. Especially for a single player activity as a JP, people are allowed to spend it as much as learn to master as they please if it brings them enjoyment. It doesn't harm anyone, and the great thing about games is learning hard obstacles. You can be honest, but also not obnoxious. Politeness today, however, has come to a point where people lie, creating a false sense of accomplishment, and as soon as people pampered, they suddenly feel oppressed, they go into the real world. Not sure that's right. It's not... I think you guys are talking in extremes, which... you know, I don't think just because you're a polite person, it means that you're sugarcoating everything. You know, that's like overly cynical. That kind of misses the point completely, I think. I think giving that advice might work for some people who are stuck in a particular mindset, but I don't think it should be applied to everyone who has trouble with JPs. I don't see how lying to people just because they can't cope with their emotions is a positive thing to do to them. Well, I'm just going to let your opinion there simmer out there and attract whatever ridicule or praise you feel it deserves, but I think that's ludicrous. If someone wants to keep trying jumping at a puzzle over the course of years and they aren't going on and ruining other people's time, let them. Right, okay, so now let me throw my hat in on this, right? This comment is ridiculous. It was heavily downvoted by Reddit, and it was right to be heavily downvoted by Reddit. The idea, oh, you can't do it first time. And remember, this was not prompted by someone complaining, asking the devs to make the Clocktower easy or whatever. This is someone in a vacuum going out and saying, if you're struggling, bugger off. If you don't have a natural aptitude, if it's not easy to you, don't do it. Not only is it dictating how other people spend their free time, but it misses the point of what's enjoyable about coming over a challenge in the first place. In a lot of ways, I think the people who most deserve to play a lot of the Clocktower are the ones who struggle, as long as they are also the kind of person who enjoys the struggle, right, and the ultimate reward at the end. And so to say, oh, if you're struggling with it, just don't do it, you're an idiot, you're innately bad at it, and you shouldn't try, is like such a gross, it's pathetic, actually, as a mindset. It will get you nowhere in life, and it's an apology for being lazy. It's an excuse for being lazy. It is absurd. Not only that, but it was also rudely put. I think it is a gross, dim-witted, idiotic thing to say on like for a lot of reasons. It's a gross comment, and I think justifiably downvoted to hell. All right. Anyway, so a dev responds. Ooh, a dev responds. So let's see this. So the dev is Anatoly Ingram, who's actually been posting a lot on Reddit lately. My respect has gone up several notches lately, just because they're interfacing a lot, they're talking a lot, and it's good to see when devs do that. And so they say this. I have a lot of respect for people who keep trying when they have trouble with something, especially when their continued effort is having zero effect on anyone else. So the start of this conversation was the Clocktower, but it goes broader than that, right? There is courage and wisdom in knowing when to give up, but only if giving up is what's best for you and what you want. Pushing yourself to do something you don't have an interest in, or that's hurting your quality of life, or that you're not comfortable with, there's nothing wrong with giving up on that. Even when people who are good at things sometimes need the space to say it's not working out for them. And I think that's a really interesting comment, especially when I put that into, you know, terms of things that aren't the Clocktower, just anything in life, right? Knowing when to give up, that there is a bit of respect in it, but trying for something is worth a lot. But it's okay, and honestly impressive to keep practicing at something that you're enjoying until you make it. It's a jumping puzzle that's only available 1 year at a time. It's meant to be worked at. People who finally completed it after 5 years have every right to be proud of that, and I'm saddened to think that someone might read your comment, take it to heart, and then lose their satisfaction and happiness because they're somehow being looked down on for taking a while to get there. The fact it took them a while is the thing to celebrate, right? Sorry, Anatoly didn't say that. I added that last bit. And then they said, and RE talent. I know a lot of amazing artists and writers who almost gave up on practicing and trying because they believed they simply didn't have any talent. Andrew Loomis was told to quit art school. Skill, passion, and practice are higher predictors of success. And do you know what? Anatoly is goddamn fucking right. Absolutely right. Anyway, so the original commenter comes back. All right. So they come back. So this is where it gets interesting to me. All right. They come back. So remember, the original commenter is basically saying, no, if you suck at it, stop it immediately, right? So they come back and they say, proud for completing something that's generally not difficult and has video tutorials after several years, ... Sorry, man, but proud is not the word you're looking for. Everything else you said I agree with, and more or less I made the same argument. There's nothing wrong in not giving up and retrying, absolutely. But that doesn't mean that no one should ever give up on anything. My point is, not everyone can do everything because we're not all the same. And going headstrong against nature like this would be nothing short of stupid. Right? He's making this argument that, like, people are naturally bad at the Clocktower. It's nature, guys. It's your genetics. You are inherently bad at this, just like he's inherently bad at swimming. And so it was okay for him to quit swimming. Like, what a, like, gross way of looking at the world. What a horrible way. So then he goes on, and if someone is trying something and failing, but enjoying, then by all means keep trying, because you are enjoying. That's what life's for. But if you succeed after 20 hours, when 90% of the population does it in 20 minutes, then calling yourself is proud is just wrong. Period. I love it when, and I'm sorry I'm going to say this, Americans go on the internet and say, period. Period. This finalizes my argument. It makes it sound awesome because I said period at the end. Right, I love it when people do this. So that last point there. So who determines whether you can be proud or not? guys. This guy's basically making an argument saying you don't get to decide your own points of pride. It's everyone else that does. If it took you a really long time to learn how to read time, right? You don't get to be proud of that. Other people tell you if you get to be proud of that. What do you think about that? Can someone prescribe pride to you? Is your pride reliant on the opinions and accomplishments of the masses? What do you think of that? And I won't wait for a response on you this time. That's also a gross, disgusting thing to say. Like, if you value that by your life, you're just asking for trouble. You're just inviting a massive amount of stress. You can only be proud of something you've done as long as, you know, other people haven't done it already. You know, and I struggle with that, actually, in certain respects. So, yeah, it's just like a mire. It's just like a quagmire of crap. So then the dev comes back again. So then this is also interesting. You know, and as I'm reading through this the first time, all this stuff's going through my head. I'm thinking, oh, this is... So the dev is basically in like a spit fight with a random on the internet about, like, their odd opinions on the world. So they respond again by saying, people have different levels of ability. It has no effect on you. And I guess I just don't understand the appeal of going out of your way to make people feel bad about that fact. It's a jumping puzzle in an MMO Halloween festival, not aspiring to be a master pianist. And then they respond again, the player does, who says, I'm certainly not doing this to make people feel bad. On the other hand, if I'm speaking out loud a fact of life, it makes him feel bad, then maybe he should feel bad. He will get over it tomorrow, and he'll come out as a stronger person. So also dictating what will make someone a strong person here. Maybe wiser too. He's making someone wiser, guys. He will live a life of better understanding of own strengths and weaknesses / limitations, not a life of denial. I don't understand what's so horrific about this. I'm not trying to hurt someone. I'm doing what I believe is better for that person in the long run. And then the dev responds again and says, it's a jumping puzzle in an MMO. I don't think you and I are going to convince each other, so peace, smiley face. Oh, I loved the whole exchange. I thought, oh my gosh. All right. This was I'm so sorry that the gameplay has been, I mean, just the worst thing. I really do apologize. I don't even know what I'm combining this table with at this point. It's not string, is it? String goes with swords for bows. Shields go with scrap metal. Chairs go with scrap metal for shields. Hammers go with sticks. I remember now. Okay, so we're looking for some scrap metal again. And then I'll go and scroll into you guys. So am I the one by sort of basically openly mocking this? Am I being the judgy one? Am I the arrogant one now? Am I the rude one lacking all social graces? Do you think that he has a point? I mean, there's probably a nugget or something in there. Okay, there we go. That's the shield. And now let's deposit. I like how I care this little about saving the Zephyrite in this dynamic event at this point. As a tempered Guild Wars 2 player. So there we go. There's a boat. That one was really quick. How many more do we need to make here? Crystal Oasis. 3 more. 3 more weapons. This is an anvil. And we want a stick to go with that one. There's actually a lot of anvils, it feels like, that they put around there. I agree with WP ... this person. Wait, what does that mean? You agree with the person or with me? Hey, somebody just made it a year. Nice. Is this a bit tacky for me to read out people's comments? I don't know. Because if you post a comment online, it's open to the public, isn't it? Isn't that the whole point? It was Rav, man. Enjoying your evening. I am enjoying my evening. I hope you're enjoying yours. And a year as a spud, dude. That's so cool. Thank you so much. And congrats on your new icon. Sorry about the inevitable grind that's now coming up for you. So what do we have here? We picked up an anvil earlier. So we're looking for a branch anywhere. That's scrap metal. There we go. There's a branch. I like that they actually didn't have the text written down there. It takes a bit longer to sort of acclimate to it, but I think it's more fun this way. More immersive, actually looking at the ground. So what's this? So that's a saw blade, and then we need some string. That's another branch. That's another saw blade. Maybe string will be a little bit higher up. That's some scrap metal there. And we had a resub there as well from Bavarista. Dude, it's good to see you. That's a chair. Do you know what? I'm just going to grab this chair because I saw the scrap metal down here, so... I know for a fact I can get this really quickly, right? Like so. I'm slowly getting the capacity to see more than one thing. So there's another chair, and there was more scrap metal somewhere on the ground I remember seeing. It's an anvil. So that's rope. So hold on, rope, and I think there was a saw blade on top of one of these weapon crates. I think I saw a saw blade, didn't I? Unless someone's just grabbed one. No, here it was. Here it was. Here it was. Okay, so there we go. That's the end of the heart. And there you go. Up in arms. Oh, what? They want me to do 30? Oh well, look. This is not fun. I'll do that off screen. That's outrageous. Okay, bleached bones. Now, if you guys don't know me, I don't usually like looking at wiki to get the locations of this stuff. So I'm going to just wander around and see what I can find. So the first one's in the Bay of Elon. So we're going to go to the Bay of Elon and see what we've got there. So the Bay of Elon's like out here. So there's some bleached bones out here, basically. I'll get on the skimmer and see. And as we go, I just want to look at Twitch chat because I haven't for a little while. So what are people saying here? I think you can say you're being a twat right now from a certain perspective because you are judging the judger. But I believe in this instance he deserves it because he went out of his way to try and make someone feel bad even though he didn't intend that, I'm sure. No, he did intend that. He openly admitted to trying to make people feel bad because he felt that that would enlighten them in the long run. And that it was his job on the internet to lecture how someone else views their own sense of pride. Because as we all know, if you're on the internet, you're there to be lectured, right? And especially when it comes to the matter of tough love. Tough love is what everybody needs, and you're more than welcome to offer that to random strangers, of which you have no affiliation. You're going out of your way to call this person. I wouldn't say I'm well, I am to an extent, but mostly I actually started this discussion to discuss it because I want to see what you guys have to say just as much. From my perspective, it's a mockable thing. I don't think that's too bad. But yeah. So maybe the bleach bones are on top of one of these things because I've done a lot of swimming. Bay of Ellen is like, maybe it's out on one of the islands as well. We can come down. What else we got here? Joke's on you, the folks living in that village aren't Zephyrites. Yeah, that's true, yeah. Yeah. It's the fact that the topic came out of nowhere. It's not like people saying nerf the Clocktower. Yeah, people were just saying, hey, yay, I finished it. And but for what it's worth, right, I will be perfectly honest. I can be a bit sneery and judgy when I see people say, oh, I finished the Clocktower for the first time. You know, I can understand being like, oh my god, all right, look, it's not that bad. But you know, I don't deflect that onto those people. I realize that the reason I'm a bit snobby about that is because it's just old hat to me. Because these were discussions I had 5 years ago, and they've resurfaced several times, and it's pretty much, you know, it's old hat to me now, and it's something that we've gone over a lot of times before. It's not something that's really a great conversation point, or something to be particularly proud of to me, because I've had that conversation a lot. But that's about me. I've had that conversation a lot. So it would be terribly unfair for me to immediately go out and say, you're an idiot, why are you proud of doing the Clocktower? Unless it was like deliberately jokey in nature or whatever, which this clearly wasn't. So, you know, like I think that appreciating that is incredibly important. No bleach bones around here. We do have a trade cache, which I'll open up. Get a music box. That dev was really poetic in the first response. It really was words to live by. Yeah, and to be honest, when I first read it, I got it from Guild Wars Dev Track, and I read that initial comment, and I didn't even realize they were talking about the Clocktower at first, and I just read Anatoly's first comment, and it really is a great comment, and it's a great way to live your life, and it's a great way to think about things, I think, personally. And I was thinking about, you know, totally other stuff. Like, for example, like, I'm thinking about maybe stopping the Elder Scrolls thing. And, you know, in an extent, that's sort of me giving up. That's me saying, no, it's too hard. It's going to be too big. It's too much. And, you know, I'm wondering, is it ever okay to give up? I actually think that at its core is a really interesting thing to talk about. And, you know, the thing maybe we should focus on more than just sort of wrecking this person. Like, is it okay? At what point should you be happy to quit, right? And that you know, that's not an easily defined thing. And that's sort of what this conversation stems from. And it just so happens to be around the topic of the Clocktower. You're always the arrogant one, Kappa. It's a fact of life. Alright, I'm scrolled up quite far. Scroll down. Oh, I had a removed message from Rain Pumpkin. What was this, a link? Do you want permission, Pumpkin? Oh no, it was a symbol. By the way, guys, I don't think it's fair to just call this person a troll. I don't see what that accomplishes. If you just call if you see something you don't agree with online, right? And if someone's being, you know, particularly snobby about it or aggressive about it or whatever, that doesn't automatically make someone a troll. You do yourself a disservice by saying that. By going, oh, they're just a troll, you know. Let's be completely blunt about this. A troll is someone who's going out of their way to anger people because it's funny, all right? Trolling is like, to do it as a joke to get people's backs up, right? If you just take all opinions you don't agree with and say, oh, they're just a troll, you're like, I don't know, you're sort of creating a little bubble for yourself to live in. It's probably not smart to do that. I don't think that this person on Reddit was a troll at all. I think they genuinely believed what they said, and I think they would genuinely, you know, have this stance that, you know, well, several stances that you may or may not agree with. Calling them a troll doesn't help. I get that you have the desire to insult them, right? Which itself, maybe you should try to repress. Not that I particularly did too well on this stream. But you shouldn't just call everyone a troll just because you don't agree with them. You need to take their opinion seriously and then explain why you don't agree with it. Don't just say, oh, they can't be serious. Like, that's almost as bad. Topic change. Why do you know make it drop ArenaNet? The Great Saw. Me want this thing. Oh, does it, Yeah, so what happened with the Halloween skins this year? Is the competition safe? The value of stuff didn't plummet, right? So there were bleach bones there. Was that the one we were looking for? Let's have a look. I'm going to go Crystal Oasis, and then I'm going to toggle that achievement on, and there we go. So Bay of Ellen, we got it. Nice. Amnoon's southern outskirts, all right? So that's around the pipe singing, isn't it? Oh, no, it's around here. You know, I think it's probably somewhere up here, because I've spent so little time there. So let's go have a look, shall we? I found the bleach bones. Thanks very much for finding them. I kind of like finding them myself. So if it takes me a little while, don't worry about it too much. But yeah, we found those ones in the end there. Trolling is like not using hotkeys for mounts. Yeah, right? That's trolling. Calling someone a troll just means you have no argument, says Mathiadon. Yeah, I mean, basically is what I'm trying to say. You put that way more bluntly. It makes you look weak by doing that. That's not to say sometimes you shouldn't ignore people, but if you're going to engage in a discussion with someone, engage in the discussion. Don't cop out. It doesn't drop. The discussion of when you should quit is definitely something I think can be hard. I myself have had to think about this when I switch a program at uni, but it's usually something a person should have with themselves or with people they know. To keep on trying is good. It makes people better, but you need to think about... Yeah, like, I have real problems with that. Like, and again, this is the thing I really wanted to talk about. I have real problems with that because I don't like quitting at all. I really, really, really don't. I take it as like a serious sign of weakness if I quit something, especially if there's any sign that I wanted to start it, you know. Even if it's a really bad idea and, you know, there's no practical reason to pursue it. If I've started it, I kind of just want to keep going. And I think I've seen success from that, but I think I've also put myself through a lot of unnecessary stress from that. It's funny, I've been trawling through a lot of new YouTubers and people trying to become YouTubers and people starting channels and looking for advice on things online, and, you know, all these people who are you know, they're copying their favorite Let's Player or whatever, and they're now at, you know, 2 views a video day in, day out, day in, day out, just like for what it's worth I was for about a year. And, you know, I've been looking at a lot of that stuff, and I came to... All of this is a roundabout way of saying I ended up coming to a video where someone had been very unsuccessful, but then suddenly quite successful in a very short space of time. And they did a video that was basically on the topic of, should you quit uni? And I looked at that, and I looked at the title, and I looked at the thumbnail, and I was like, holy shit. Because you can't see likes versus dislikes on YouTube before you click the video, right? So I looked at that, and I was like, that's crazy. I feel like no one ever in a million years should take advice on whether they should quit and give up uni or not, right? Topic of giving up, based on what a successful YouTuber says to them. Because I don't know whether I sort of drag myself down a bit of this, but I sort of feel like anyone who's successful on YouTube, almost anyone, I have the opinion it's that we're lucky. Or anyone who's successful on Twitch or whatever. There are certain things you can do, and like diligence is very important and stuff. But at the end of the day, I think everyone just gets lucky at some point. You're lucky because some bigger YouTuber pulled you out by pointing you out to their already existing audience, which is like how 90% of people these days get up there. Or you were lucky to cover a product as it was blowing up. That's me, by the way. Hello, Guild Wars. And that's about it. It's luck, really. Whether you're the one among anyone else. So to take like serious life advice from like a YouTuber, I think it's a really scary thing to do. I'm not saying it's always terrible, but it feels like a disaster in waiting for a YouTuber to go online and say, hey, here's whether you should quit uni or not, and whether people should really listen. So I was looking at that. I was like, I wonder how this has been taken. I click, and you know, it's actually a massively viewed video, and everybody loves it. But it's basically a guy who just went online and said, yeah, I followed my dream and I made it. Go ahead and quit. Good luck to you all. And it's like unanimous positivity in the comments. Everyone's saying, oh, everybody needs to see this, blah, 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 blah. Now, just to be clear, so these are still the southern outskirts. I wonder where... There's a guy there, so I'm guessing it's the bleach bones in the water there, which I remember from the demo, so I'll go over there. Now, just to be clear, personally, I'm pretty cynical of going to college and getting a degree and blah, 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 blah. But I was cynical about that long before what I'm currently doing. And it's because I believe in apprenticeships, and I believe in work experience, and I believe that degrees don't really count for much. And I also don't believe in the kind of debt that you get put in. I mean, when I had the opportunity, it would have only cost me like $3,000 a year to go. No, $3,000 in total, I think, to go. And I was thinking that's too steep. Anyway, we don't have to get into my opinions on whether I want to go to whether people should go to university or what. But that's sort of my default state. And so this big YouTube video was basically someone saying, yeah, if you're not enjoying your degree, if you're struggling with your work, if you're finding it hard to study and stuff, don't worry about it. Quit. It's not that important. You got to live your life, follow your, you know, kind of one of these very feel good, fluffy. Do what you want, man. It's not that important. Go for it. You know, be different. Don't be afraid. You know, kind of all these buzzwordy things. And a lot of them I actually believe in. I believe in being different very much. I mean, it was so funny to see. And I wonder whether that's like smart. I wonder whether it's okay that, you know, people should feel comfortable, confident enough doing it. I would be really curious. I know a lot of you guys listen to me right now are in the middle of doing your degrees and stuff. I know for a fact you are. So tell me, people. Wait, was it what? Did I get that there? Yes, I did. Okay, cool. Now the Sinking Ruins. The Sinking Ruins is this place, right? No, that's not the Sinking Ruins. Sinking Ruins are up here. Okay, the Sinking Ruins are up here. This is a really good tour of the place. You just want ArenaNet to implement skins into Ascent to Madness again so I can farm and not spend more money on green skins that's somehow more expensive than Legendary, which in itself just wrong. Didn't you quit your job in the distance past, and yet it was that decision that's perhaps defined you most in your adult life? Yeah, but you know, that doesn't make it good advice to other people. I think it was incredibly stupid, actually, and I don't even think it increased my productivity that much to do that. And I wouldn't recommend it to other people for a bunch of different reasons, but mostly because I don't think that I can extrapolate my life experience, my map, my success, my luck onto someone else. You know, doing this is inherently ridiculously fiddly and dumb, like dumb on so many levels. So I don't think I'd ever feel confident. And some people might look at that and think that there's some kind of weird ulterior motive going on there, like, oh, you don't want to encourage other people to come to the scene. You know, that couldn't be further from the truth. I just think that, you know, it takes a level of optimism. Way... Well, you know, I didn't even have that optimism. Let me be clear. I didn't make any decisions that affected my real career and things I had qualifications in and stuff until long after it was apparent I had, you know, quote unquote made it, so to speak, which I, by many standards, I certainly haven't still. Oh, it's really cool, actually. So you can't grab these while you're on any mount other than the Raptor. That is really, really nice. All right, anyway, so the Sinking Ruins. I'm guessing it could be up by that JP up there, which I don't remember if I've done since release. It could be up on the very top right. It could be inside the pyramid where the story takes place. It could be... I mean, we did go up for the Griffin Adventure, right? So I wonder whether that's much of a thing. There's a player in the squad standing in a specific place again, so I wonder if they're subtly telling me where to go. And by the way, this is not me saying that the video this person made advising all of their followers to just quit when... oh, there they are. Or unless these are ones I've already got. I'm not saying that that's a bad video, or that that YouTuber should feel bad for making it. You know, they were just sharing their experience of the world and so on, which is fair enough. But it is interesting to look at. There's no right or wrong answer to quitting uni. I mean, here's something a bit more tangible. I know for a fact if I had gone to uni, I would have been the kind of person that would have made myself miserable for the entire duration just so that I could have got my money's worth out of it. I would have fell into the trap of the fallacy of sunk costs 100%. I would have thought, well, I've started on this road now, so fuck it, we're going the whole way. That's what it would have been for me. Absolutely. Even if I loathed my, you know, the degree I was going for, even if I felt like there was nothing that I really related to or whatever, I would have kept going. That's me. I know that for a fact. Well, that's me today. I don't know about back then. If I were to go, you know, as a mature student or whatever, I'm sure that that's how I'd be today. But maybe that's a bad thing. So let's check if those bleach bones were the right ones. No, there's 2 in the Sinking Ruins, and we don't have one of them still. There's a lost chest there. This is where the Griffin run starts. What about over here? So you are saying you are where you are at the moment on Twitch because you were lucky. I do not agree. There is a full loads of time and effort you put into this before you got to where you are now. You should take in consideration that people know and appreciate this specific fact. But that's not exclusive to me. I mean, that's lovely and really, really sweet of you and nice, right? But what, you I don't put that much effort into this. I mean, I put effort in, yeah, but I don't put that much effort in. And compared to other people, I don't put that much effort in. And yet, you know, I've got a lot more than other people have. Is that because I deserve that? Because I put more effort in? Absolutely not. I think anyway. Now, the truth is that any one stream or any one video you look at, it's not that production on its own. It is representative of the body of work, right? From that specific person. And everything in a nutshell. So doing moment-to-moment judgments of quality or whatever has always been really foolish. So this person is stood in the pyramid, I guess. So let's go into it. I don't know how he got there. I don't know how high or low he is either, because I don't see the thing. But no, I genuinely, it's not just that, but it's a huge amount of luck too. If you're not being different, that is. I don't know. I don't want to get into that whole side of the discussion. I'd rather keep it in the area of when it's okay to give up or not, because I hate doing a stream where I act like some fucking guru or, you know, knowledgeable guy, and I'm not. So maybe it's all the way down here. Here we go. We're going to do something amazing. We're going to do something Spyro style. Oh, where was the entrance? Oh, it's all the way over there. Yeah, well, that would have been terrible anyway. I just scroll down. Donations. Did I have a donation? Oh, Jebro. Oh my god, he's got 300 people as well. What was going on there then? Hello, everybody. Welcome. We're doing Bleach Bones in POF and rambling about a lot of crap, basically. Being judgy about other people on the internet. Talking about quitting uni. Talking about success. Stuff like that. Is it literally these? It cannot be these. Surely it's not these. I must have picked these up at some point. Yeah, I did pick these up. This is not it. I appreciate the person who's standing here. So yeah, we're doing this achievement where we're trying to get all of the bleached bones without just copping out and using Wiki as a guide. So... you're very true. I don't like uni in large part because, as you say, because of the way a degree is presented as knowledge when it isn't a good way of showing it. But I love the knowledge in uni as a good way of gaining knowledge, but not necessarily. I actually think, I remember before, because I got accepted to university, I just chose not to go eventually, right? And so, you know, I went through all the application process and, you know, I worked really hard on my A-levels and blah, 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 and did well enough to get into places. But I remember during this period of time, I remember there were like these people who I didn't respect at all, and I thought they were just talking out of their arses, right? At the time, who would say stuff like, "Oh, you know, the real strength of uni is it's the social stuff. It's learning who you are in the world. It's becoming an adult. It's you know, these are the real strengths of uni. Blah blah blah." And I remember listening to those people and thinking, what are you talking about? That is ridiculous. That is so stupid. But I genuinely think that actually is one of the biggest strengths of uni. It's kind of like a culturally friendly way for every little kid out there to learn what it's like to live away from mummy and daddy with a bunch of other people going through that same experience. So it's like, okay, right? And learning how to be independent. And also on a more practical side, when it comes to like specializing in a career in your later years, literally the networking you do at uni will land you jobs. And if you don't do it well enough, you end up one of these people that has a degree and has no and I'm not trying to shift the blame onto these people, obviously, because job markets are shit and that's not, you know, an individual's fault. But, you know, a lot of the time when you see people come out of uni immediately with jobs, it's because of the people they met while they were working on X, Y, or Z, right? So I kind of actually do believe that is incredibly important now, even though I kind of sneered at that back then. All right, sorry, B-Boy. Okay, we're going to do a giveaway. So, yes, everybody who just came from Jebro, if you haven't already tuned out, because, I don't know, what was he playing? It must have been PvP. Did he cast a tourney or something? Was there an automated going on? Anyway, we're going to do a giveaway. We're going to give away the Timekeeper Staff skin. So let's have a look here. Timekeeper Staff. So we're going to give away this, guys. 90 gold on the TP. Very pricey. Oh, this looks really good with my setup here, doesn't it? Wow, that looks awesome, actually. Wow, how is that so color coordinated instantly? So if you've got the new Halloween outfit, this festival, check it out. If you have no sense of Fashion Wars 2, that works pretty nicely. So this is based on the Celestial Compass, a really cool skin from the first game. And you can get here. I used to grind Z keys to get my Celestial Compass, but I think there was an Eye of the North dungeon you could do it in or something. So the way you win this, guys, is you just type a word in chat and you'll be entered. Okay, so that word is, go to chat right now, type the word Kesho, Kesho. That's all you have to do. And you'll be in for a chance to win it. And we'll do the giveaway soon enough. Also, if you're a subscriber of mine, you get 10 times the chance to win. So remember to sub if you have the capability to. You also get emotes, you get badge, you get all kinds of different perks. Also, what was the other thing I was going to say? Yeah, and you can do it for free with Amazon Prime, I guess. I can't remember what I was going to say. There you go. So it's worth quite a lot. So good luck. Did your viewership spike significantly with POS? Have it remained? Yes, it did spike as anticipated. It did not spike as high as I expected. And no, it's not sustained. Like, look at today's stream. Today's stream is nothing compared to even 3 weeks ago. But that might have something to do with my main channel having less videos on it and a few other things. The fact we wasted a ton of time doing Halloween. The fact that I haven't been advertising as much as I was before. But I don't advertise as much before because I don't want to spam just advertisement videos because I don't have enough regular YouTube videos to balance it out. So there's lots of different things. But yeah. I don't know whether my viewership or the viewership of the content scene, creator scene in general, is actually a good indication of the size of the MMO. I think it goes paints some of the picture, but not the full thing. So yeah. The person searching for that YouTube video is looking for the justification they need. Nothing wrong with encouraging them to follow their dream. That's an interesting idea. To be a bit of a dick, I don't actually think the YouTube video was titled "Why You Should Quit Uni." I don't think it was that. It was basically, here's my advice on whether you should quit uni, And it was very apparent from the thumbnail and everything that he was going to suggest you quit. Because obviously he's going to suggest you quit. He's a YouTuber. He has no real sense of the world. And I say that about myself. You know, it's someone who got lucky. It's, you know, and this isn't a new thing I'm talking about here. It's the same as, you know, all celebrities will tell you to follow their dream, you know? You listen to a Tom Hanks interview or something, and you're an aspiring actor / actress, and, you know, you're looking for advice. You're living out of a box in Los Angeles, and it's your 3rd year, and you just did coke off of some guy's... you know, you're in a bad place, right? And you're looking for advice. Do I get out of it? Is it, you know, oh God, I don't know. Is this for me? Am I ever going to make it? So you look up a celebrity, and someone who's made it is going to tell you to keep going, right? Because that's their life experience. And they're not bad people for that. Maybe a bit naive. But, you know, you have to question where your advice comes from. I actually have no idea where these beach bones might be. Got no idea. I mean, there's someone in the squad over here now as well. PH Char. Do you think he's been like my guardian angel? He's been like my fairy godmother. Let's go over there and see, shall we? Can I link the video? No, I'm sorry. You got no idea how many videos I've looked through in the past 72 hours or so. Past couple of days. I did find a really awesome channel of a guy who's only been making videos for 1 year. And he's only done like 10 or 11. But his YouTube channel is like proper exploding. And it's kind of like the dream success story. But again, the reason he has that is because some other bigger people in his niche started calling him out and saying, hey, everybody watch him. So even that's, you know, actually pretty standard. PH Char says, no, I have no idea what I'm doing. Okay. Oh, dear. Well, we can fly along. At least it looks pretty, right, guys? It looks like we're doing something meaningful. Even if we may not actually be. See, I genuinely, though, I think that this is nice. I don't know. I'd rather actually experience this than just skip it all. With a guide. Gets you more intimately familiar with the maps. There are some bones on me, by the way, they say. Where are those? Oh, down here at the raptor snack area? This could be it. I don't remember getting any bones there. Oh, I think you found him. Haru Cage. I think you found him. What a ledge. Benji says, fallacy of sunk cost indeed. I was miserable my final year, and I was so ready to quit. I know someone who did, in fact, and I think they're 10 times as smart as me. Could easily have got pulled through. I've passed now. Not as good as I wanted, but hey, no one speaks of my degree again. I have a great job. I will never get why some streamers, YouTubers are popular and some are not. Again, like, you have to understand, it's not an individual thing. It's a body of work. You have to understand that. You will go nuts if you don't understand that, right? Anyone who looks really lazy or, you know, whatever, you might find it's just because they put a shit ton of hours in. Or once upon a time, they were better. That's like me, right? Once upon a time, I was higher quality. Once upon a time, I did things like the Law series. Once upon a time, I knew what I was talking about. And, you know, I still get viewership based on that, even though now I'm, you know, a buffoon that wanders around with no fucking comprehension as to what he's talking about. Yeah. Or whatever. That you have to understand that. It's always... So, to a certain extent as well, it's how well you can pander to children. I'm loath to admit. But to the rest of it, it's that. Success on YouTube and as a content creator is massively luck. There are some, like, things that you do... There are... Bars for success are not like high bars that you jump over and afford you success. They're low bars that prevent success. Does that make sense? So, like, literally, it's like... Your audio quality has to be of a certain level, or you won't find success, right? But once you reach that certain level, that's about it. There is no, like, next bar up, a higher bar, that will guarantee success. That doesn't exist. There's only things that will prevent it, and all of them are pretty low, right? And so that's something that's really important to learn as well. Like, if you were a theoretical person like, I like wooden potatoes, I'm going to be the next wooden potatoes, and you want to start out, and now you're looking at buying all this gear and stuff, you might get conned into spending thousands and thousands on lighting setups and expensive cameras and expensive lenses and expensive microphones and, you know, excessive acoustic paneling and all this stuff because you think that there are all these high bars you can jump over that will guarantee success or somehow increase your odds dramatically. But the truth is, there's nothing that will really increase your odds dramatically beyond securing some kind of shout out from someone bigger. It's low bars, not high bars. And that's the other thing to understand. Haha, you have put a lot of effort in. 10,000s is a mastery level effort for almost anything. I don't know. I think I'm always going to be a bit pessimistic about my own efforts. I don't know. We'll see. One day in the future, I might have something that, you know, I will happily say, yeah, I'm amazing at this, guys. I'm a boss. But we'll see. You graduated university earlier this year, and after your first job with no work experience in the field, starts me at 6-figure salary, so I would never recommend someone to quit for YouTube. So there you go, that's an opposite thing. I think starting anything on a 6-figure salary is pretty crazy good as well. I don't know whether people should expect that. But, you know, that's kind of the opposite end of things, isn't it? Christ, and how many years were you at uni? Because think about this, I've been doing this for 7 years. I'm nowhere near a 6-figure salary. Holy crap. If it took you like 3 years at uni, right, to get the qualifications you need in a market sector that you identified was lacking, and now you're on 6 figures, you know, I could have, you know, done 2 years of Guild Wars 2 content coverage, gone to uni, and, you know, ended up having a stronger career already. Do you get what I mean? Where you get the hero point from the cave. Right. I've not actually been taking in what I'm doing here. Corsini Crossing. I can't look at this because I'm going to get killed by an eel or whatever. This is the Hatari Tablelands. The Corsini Crossing is down here. They're really zigzagging us around, aren't they, huh? That's okay, though. I'm happy with that. Actually, we're quite high, so maybe we can Griffin. By the way, I'm not actually trying to troll people right now. I decided to run with the reshade installed today, so that's why I'm that's why I'm doing the mount menu the way that I am in the moment. My social skills are the same shit as it was before. But it's not just social skills, it's life skills though. It's like, you know, it's that act of being independent. University is the best way to learn to be, unless you go to like boarding school and, you know, you spend a lot of your childhood away from your parents. It's like one of the most, you know, normal cultural ways in you know, the Western world, I'd say, at least, to really learn independence. Or at least from my perspective. Maybe someone could blow my mind with some cultural thing that I don't know about. So it could be anywhere, in even the puzzle, right? This could be a challenge. I doubt it's on those rocks, because they're just there to hide the puzzle. Now, it's hard because I know I've played in these areas a lot, but I don't remember how much of it was at release versus the demos before release. I'm going to have to scroll. Lol, I like how he said it mustn't be PvP. Was that when the host happened? To get that whole independence feeling, you were talking about the military's another solid choice. It makes you grow up extremely fast. There you go, military too. Yep. All right, there's all the Kesho spam. All right, guys, I'm scrolling. I'm going to miss so many of your comments. Have I watched any movies recently? You missed the Visualwood Movie Club. Sure. What did I watch most recently? I don't know. I'm quite into TV at the moment. I'm in the middle of Blue Planet. I've just watched The Thick of It. I'm thinking of watching the Thick of It movie adaptation in the loop. People are suggesting Veep, which is like the American version of like a political, funny kind of high swear word show, shall we say. I think it's produced... is that Armando Iannucci again? I don't know. But yeah, I was thinking of that. What else have I been watching? Have you ever had any job offers because of the work on YouTube I do? Nothing I've ever really taken very far. I'll say that. And nothing any of you guys would ever be interested in. But it's funny, when you get to a certain level, you get all kinds of weird, funny propositions across the spectrum. Donations. Did I have a donation? How long ago was that? Ewendall. I can't think of a good comment to go with this donation. Someone should donate and make a good comment for me. Okay, sorry, that was ages ago. Thank you, Ewendall. Thank you very, very much. Lin Len has won the giveaway. Congratulations, Lin Len. And they weren't a sub, so congrats. Lin Len, go on. Go for it. Yep. Scrolling. They had to re-roll. Sorry, Leland, you waited too long. Tail M's then won. Tail M's. Veep is amazing. Is it amazing? I mean, I've heard a lot of people quite snobbily saying it's not as good as The Thick of It, and so you shouldn't watch it. But I wonder if it's got something in there. Because, you know, a lot of people say that the US office is a lot worse than the UK office. And obviously, it starts running out of gas in the later seasons and stuff. But there's a golden age of the US office, like seasons 2 to 5, where it is genuinely one of the best. It's got some of the best. It's one of the best TV shows I've ever seen in certain respects. So, you know, I think there's stuff to like about it, even if people can be very, very kind of snobby about the UK office being better. Or whatever. So there's some hidden desert vegetables there, which is kind of funny. I don't remember this portal. Where does this? I don't know if I've ever been in this. Is there any point in going in this? Should we try? See where it takes us? Whoa. Oh, there's a chest up there. Is that like a hidden? Or is that just a part of the regular thing, maybe? I don't know. The bleach bone's going to be here because I've explored it quite well and quite frequently, and you would have thought that I'd have seen them. So I think I'm actually going to leave this area. We'll come back as a matter of desperation later, but I think I've probably got whatever's here. Isn't it due to the actor leaving? No. The American office started struggling because the characters were getting flanderized. They were getting more lazily written. The beauty of that show and like kind of awkward humor like that is you need normal actors. And when I say actors, I don't mean like the profession. You need people. You need a crowd of normal people. People who presumably are embarrassed or judgmental or whatever. You need that. Like Steve Carell playing as Michael Scott on the Booze Cruise boat is funny because he's out in public doing it with, and you're like cringing for him, and it's like gross to watch. It's like, oh my god, I can't believe he's doing that. That's what's funny. And so the early seasons, everyone else who works in that office, you know, they still occupy that space. They feel like real characters. But as the show goes along, for cheap gags in the short term, the writers start like cannibalizing those characters. And they try to make all of the characters funny in ways that means you lose respect for them as regular members of the public. And it means that a whole dimension of the humor of the show is lost, basically. Then there's also just the fact they obviously started running out of ideas. They started going for increasingly more ludicrous stuff. It became quite a relatable show where you're like, wow, I can imagine that being my office place. To a show where, like, a guy gets shot with a tranquilizer dart. And... you know, in the office just to go to sleep and stuff like that, you know, and it gets ludicrous. The loss of one of the main characters, Michael Scott, and Steve Carell's talents were a part of it, but it was always stupid. To say that that's why the American office stuff got shit. It was the point where most people decided arbitrarily, I would say, oh, this is when I'm going to stop, just because they like that character a lot. But the actual quality of the show, there were other things going on in the background, in my opinion, that made that bad. See, I'm guessing I was guessing there could have been bleached bones in here, but I don't see any. There's rich ori, and there's a lost chest, but as we all know, the lost chests aren't that fun to get. Haru says, I'll show you. You have to jump. All right, so apparently they do have one, but here's the thing, right? Cressini Crossing, there's 2, and I'm guessing that second one is the one that they're going for, so I'm not going to go for that. Anyone seen the new Thor? No, I haven't yet. But I'm looking forward to that. Maybe in here. Nope. There's a cat on the roof. But I want it in my home instant. Please. Did you look at the create your own weapon contest entries? If so, what do you think of the weapons? Great question, man. I did actually. I never... Do you know what? I didn't talk about that on any streams, any videos, or maybe I talked about it on like one stream, but hey, mentioning it in a tiny moment in a stream where not many, you know, much of the full audience watches is not worth very much. And I feel kind of bad about that. I didn't really talk about it much. So we're back at the Amnoon southern outskirts, which is obviously not the right place. We're miles away, in fact. I'm going to go back. That was really silly of me. See, I say it's a good question. I have looked and I did my scrolling and I saw the submissions, and I will say that people are super talented and really impressive, and the designs are gorgeous, and good luck to the winner, and it's exciting, and I love what it represents, a return to an old... For people that don't know, the designer weapon contest was like a well-done recurring thing from Guild Wars 1, right? And so for Guild Wars 2 to start doing that, it's so cool. I love what it I love it all. However, do I have anything tangible? You're going to ask me, Wooden Potatoes, which one do you want to vote on? Wooden Potatoes, which one do you like? Listen, guys, I don't know, because I'm not good at Fashion Wars, and I don't know. Look, they all look good. May the best man win. So I'm probably not going to vote on it, just because I don't really have any strong opinions about the appearance of things, or I don't know, I lack the capacity to browse the submissions and imagine one of my characters holding one of the weapons, and the capacity to be excited by that. I don't have that. It doesn't really get to me. So maybe it is in there, actually, because I'll tell you what, the Quasini Crossing is not a big area. By the time we get here, I'd say we're more like Destiny's Gorge, so... So maybe we do have to go in there. Unless it's somewhere hidden around one of these rocks or something, but... Can confirm WP has shit taste. Yeah, well, basically, that's the point. Yeah, I have shit taste. Oh, I have shit taste because I have no taste. Someone says, I remembered where are the bones. Shall we take this guy's word for it? Follow him? Let's see. Go on then. I'll follow you, Haru Cage. Wow, what is this cool bird you're riding? What? Oh. Ha! They're right here. It's a shame there are no shields, short bows, etc., but tons of staves. Yeah, that was a thing I actually found quite interesting about all of this. It's kind of... Don't you guys think it's like an insight into... what probably sells well on the gem store? Now, I know that if the devs released like just a ton of great swords and stuff, people on Reddit would start complaining because they're like, oh, it's too many. But at the end of the day, it kind of shows, doesn't it, that swords and great swords and there's a high quantity of there. And I wonder whether can the community go through all 900 submissions or no? How does that work? Because basically, I think they had 900 submissions, and then what the devs did was they picked the top X number of them for the community to then vote on, to choose the very best of the best. So I wonder, those 900, are they publicly available anywhere? Because it'd be kind of interesting to look through all of those and see, you know, just what number of what was put up. It's just the top 20 that we vote on. Yeah, there you go. Isn't it maybe an insight into what is fun for artists to draw? I think, yes, to an extent, but I also think it's more than that, because we all know this competition, people have lots of different motivations, right? They find it fun to draw, yes, but I'd say the bigger motivations are, one, the prizes, yeah, but two, you want that weapon in game. You want to wield that, right? And so, so basically, you'll design a weapon. What you're trying to do to win is to do the most badass thing possible, no? And the most badass thing possible to a lot of people equals greatsword. At least I think it's mostly greatswords. I saw a thing where someone made a dagger as well, but the dev submitted it as a sword, which is kind of weird. And I think it's very unfair because that will affect the votes. And especially with that design, I believe it looked like kind of a mediocre sword, but a really badass dagger. I don't know whether that's just me, like, idiotically interpreting the size of the weapon into like its quality somehow, which you probably shouldn't do, but yeah. Okay, so we're going to the right here, and the next bleach bones we need are in this area. Greatsword is one of the most impractical weapons you can have. What, do you mean real life impractical? What are you talking about in game? I mean, a lot of classes have greatsword. They should have had you log in, like, for the world versus world polls. Oh, so, are there problems with the polling and the voting? Are people, like, manipulating votes? Oh dear, if that's happening, that's really unfortunate. This area looks gorgeous, except the hard cut on the horizon there. No, it's true. It does look kind of bad as a sword and nice as a dagger. I'm glad you agree, the 5th Empire. Because that is the impression I got that. You hate the majority of the greatswords in the game? Why? What kind of greatswords do you like? Do you like very thin, small greatswords? Because a lot of the Guild Wars 2 greatswords are very chunky and they look very thick as well. That's like quite a common criticism, isn't it? They don't look like actual blades. Oblivion used to get this on the modding scene as well. All the mods like Armor and Bob's Armory and all that stuff, they all their weapons were trying to be as thin as possible, basically, because they hated that Bethesda had essentially made what looks like you know, big plastic cardboard cutout like bats more than anything else, right? And I believe the reason for that being done was actually something to do with some post-processing effect. And if you make something too thin, it can become like transparent and stuff. Impractical in real life, Mayor. It's just to show off in a video game. That's all except realistic. Well, yeah. I mean, my opinion on that though is you need why not have you don't need, but why not have a balance, right? You can have a nice, thin, very realistic-looking regular greatsword, and then you can have a flaming Volcanus, right? You can have both in the game. There's no problem. Do you know what? I still don't know what granite is used for in this expansion. And why is that like the only granite node as well? Are there other ones? There's bleach bones here. We'll get these, but I have to assume I picked these up when I did the Griffin thing. Check your mail, WP. Ah, bacon's all mine. Thank you so much. Wow. Okay, I'm a terrible person for many reasons. The discussions this stream notwithstanding, I'm a terrible person because I had an amazing mail last weekend. And I didn't see it until like Monday or Tuesday this week. And I told the person I would look at it on stream for them because it's such a cool mail. And then I forgot yesterday. I'm a horrible, horrible person. And I really do apologize for that. Somebody's just reminded me in chat to look at my mails, which I will do right now. So we had a donation for Spud. So if people don't know, we've got a guild. We actually have 2 branches. We have 1,000 members. I think the next purge is about to happen very soon, and there should be lots of space for people. We do giveaways. We're building a guild hall. We're doing fun stuff, events, and it functions like a club. It's called the Spud Club, and it actually functions like one. So you pay to enter, right? And then what you donate on entry gets fed back into giveaways and events and stuff, right? So you get that money back through prizes and whatever, right? So it's funds for the club, if that makes sense. Now, anyway, somebody sent me a mail for the club. I don't even think it was like an entry fee. They just did it on their own. Look at this. Look at all these blinds. Look at playing a healing Ellie trying to kill some dust mites. This is actually amazing. I really like this. I like how slow it is, how wild this, how massively different that is to other things. So here we go, the mails. And apparently I've got some other ones here as well. What is this? Bacon's all mine. So Bacon's all mine's the person in chat who wanted me to look at oh yeah, it is the same person. No, so that ruins it. So where is it? Is it this one? Oh no, it's this one here. Okay, Felix the Fixer. All right. So hey WP, 1 week old. Felix the Fixer. It's the same guy in chat. Hey WP. Give it away or sell it or something. What was wrong with that kid's face under the garden? Wait, what was the question? What was wrong with the kid's face under the garden? God, that sounds really sinister. It's like finding a body in the dirt. What are you talking about? What is this? Kid's face under the garden? Rain Pumpkin says, I prefer one-sided great swords like Auron from FFX and not just big swords. They have a couple in Guild Wars 2, don't they? Maybe they can add some more of those. But check it out! The Chaos Gun. So that is super cool. We've been given a precursor. So we will do this as a giveaway. This will go into the Spud Bank, and we will do that as a giveaway. Yeah, it's a week old. Definitely missing the context, B-Boy. Yeah, you're right. I don't know what that context is anymore. He means the Norn Kid ghost in Lion's Arch, I think. Probably the ghost in LA. Do I know about this? You were making fun of one of the NPC ghosts from the Mad Memories collection you were doing. Oh, was I? Oh, okay. The Halloween content for Mad Memories is the context. It was the ghost kid under the LA gardens from the book. Oh, I know what you're talking about. Right. What was wrong with his face? Oh, I know exactly what you mean now. Yeah. You're talking about when we like zoomed in and stuff. Yeah, anyway, yes, I don't know. He just looked weird, all right? Well, Chaos Gun, thank you so much. And I hope everybody gives him a massive round of applause there, because that's so lovely. And one of you will win that. That's not for me. I don't TP that now and then, you know, go jerk off. That's for you guys. There will be a stream or a Spud event or something where we give that away. And adding to that as well, Bacon's on Mine also says, I got a second one of these too, added to the Chaos Gun that I sent you. Thanks for the great streams and YouTube videos too. I'm glad you're enjoying them. I know the discussion goes a bit all over the place at the moment. But anyway, there you go. Sigil of the Night. Condi damage, precision power. I don't know if lighting your hand on fire counts as a torch, Kingthorn. Some dead peasant who was wrong. So I don't actually really know how expensive this is. Is this a new thing? So the Touch of Madness. They've got 2 of these. What? 166 gold. Nice. And the preview? Oh, and it just creates a fiery fist. Bit unexciting, I think, maybe on an Ellie. Because you kind of get that anyway, sort of. But yeah, that's very cool. So there you go. Special new Halloween item, Touch of Madness. And yeah, the Chaos Gun. So thanks very much for that. That's really nice. It was 200 gold at one point. Well, I guess after the festival's over, the price might start rising as well. So if we delay that giveaway to a certain point, it might get really good. So that's a huge amount of money, and thank you, honestly. And thanks for reminding me to actually have a goddamn look and stop being a terrible human being that just ignores generosity. So what about on top of this here? So this is above that mine shaft that you go through near the waypoint to the south, north of the waypoint. It would kind of make sense for some bleach bones to be here, but again, I've traveled around here a few times. There's rich ori. Maybe I'll dip down very gently. I'm really appreciating my reshade more at the moment, since oh god. Doesn't feel like there's anything here, does it? I don't know. Price already went up 40 gold on the torch, did it? Wow. It's not Diviner's Passage that we care about, though, is it? It's the Hatari Tablelands, which is over here. So we probably missed it then, actually. Oh, do you know what? I think I've got a good idea as to where it might be. Let's have a look. You'd love it if great swords were just more like long swords. I mean, it is funny because it's like when the game released, right? You know, they do their regular kind of skins, right? Normal looking skins. And it, you know, the balance of really ridiculous looking greatswords like Volcanus versus kind of normal looking greatswords like the Pearl one, or like, you know, Sawtooth and stuff. Well, Sawtooth wasn't particularly normal, but you know what I mean. The balance wasn't too wacky. But the longer Guild Wars 2's out, the more Black Lion skin collections come in, the more expansions come out with specific rewards in those senses. The more that balance becomes very top heavy for the crazy wacky looking ones. Now that doesn't actually mean you have less choice for basic skins. But somehow it makes it feel like now they need to re-establish the correct balance and go back and put a ton of basic things in. Do you get what I mean? Is there any merit to that? Do they have to have an eye on adding more basic skins? Because the other thing is basic skins. I mean, maybe this is because I'm not creatively minded. Visually, anyway, I'm not creatively minded at all. How much can you really play around with weapon skins when they're supposed to be looking really basic? Isn't like a really basic greatsword going to look, generally speaking, like any other? You know, your opportunities to iterate on it and do little artistic changes must be quite limited if overall the aesthetic is supposed to be very refined and simple, right? So I wonder whether that's like a thing to think about as well. Is that a justifiable argument to say you need to keep adding more for every not necessarily every single one, but the thrust of the argument. Every time you add like a a ridiculous looking greatsword, you should add a more balanced, normal looking one. You know, and I'm not saying that it should be every time, but you know, the thrust of that argument. Is that a reasonable thing to say, or does it not matter? At the end of the day, there's a good selection of basic skins in Guild Wars 2, and they don't need to build any more of those. There are so many historic, accurate-looking swords that are gorgeous. So you think that's nonsense, is it, what I just proposed? And I'm open to that being nonsense. I mean, Christ, I'm not the kind of person that would know the answer to that. You mean really inferior and blurry? You love the balance we had with Guild Wars 1 skins. More cultural weapons would be great. More, yeah, well, I wanted cultural weapons with Heart of Thorns, and I wanted cultural weapons with POF as well, so I don't know about that. Wait, a wooden ash tato. Oh, is that because of the Pokemon in the background? That's very nice. You love the balance we had in Guild Wars 1 with skins? Even though, again, more normal skins like rapiers or gallant weapons would be nice. I don't know where these bleach bones are. But the thing is, I've moved far away. Hold on. I would guess. That if we go this way, and we keep high, okay, probably this is a bit too high, but maybe it's somewhere around here. I don't remember coming to this plateau. So there's a sand pile on there. What else have we got? Orichalcum. What if it's in there with the gin? There's a hidden stash in there. I suppose with the Springer, it's not a problem to. Oh, there you go. There are some bleach bones here. You fucker. You. All right, now this is going to be really annoying. What do we want to do here? Hold on. The time it would take to kill those is just like there's no world where it's worth me standing around there. So we're going to break combat unless this guy kills them. Hold on. Let's heal this guy as he kills them. We can keep him alive very easily. And just rely on his DPS. I was trying to put Arcane Shield on, which could have covered the channel, but... Go on, friend. That's right. Drop. Why are you running banners in the open world? I can't think of anything more annoying. Because it's the raiding build. Of course, there are very basic ones, but also the basic ones have different guards, pommels, hilts, so many combinations. From Kriegsmesser to bastard swords to mega long Zwindirs. I've never known how to say that. Did you said anything about the gem store thing? I had to leave while I was saying that the nearest great sort of orange is the bandit Sunderer. He's trying support warrior. Is he? So we have a support Ellie and a support warrior fighting 3 veteran fire Jin. It's okay, look, we got someone else coming. Slowly but surely. I know obviously banners still buff stats. I don't think anyone would make the argument that they don't buff stats in the open world, but does that mean that they're not annoying to run? Annoying run banners. I wouldn't run banners in the open world. I don't run banners in the open world. That's what I'm talking about. I love if they make different skins of swords and other real-world weapons like movie companies do when they make movie adaptation of yet another fantasy book. So it's made up, but it's still essentially a forged weapon. I suppose Guild Wars 2 just isn't that kind of game. Your typical medieval-ish still isn't that interesting. Yeah, Warrior is easy in the open world, absolutely. I think Warrior is one of the easiest open world things to play. That still doesn't mean that you should run a banner on it, or that the banner is the best thing to do. I think that you may as well make it even easier on yourself and not fuck about with that. Totally on rails, baby. See, so from one perspective, though, banners are kind of cool because they're like more micro to deal with. It's like more interesting. There's more going on. Let's check if that's actually the right thing there. It was. Nice. We can move on. So, Ilona Reach. But for like really long-term play, fuck running a banner. Yeah, Rev's easy as well. I think all the heavy armors are really easy. Power Guard is like really grossly easy as well and is very fun in open world. All 3 heavies, obviously depends on the specific build you're running, but they all have the capability to be extremely face roll and comfortable. And that's not a criticism of those classes, by the way. That's not me saying, oh, you know, that's a bad thing about them. Scourge is the easiest so far, and I've not played proper Conzi Scourge yet, so the opinion is kind of stupid and pointless. But so far, I actually I still prefer Power Reaper. The quality of life in Power Reaper in open world is just like ridiculous. Man, those evades on the Griffin as you fly are super good. So what is this? It's a Loner Reach now, right? There's one at Alona Reach, and that's at the Temple of Cormyr, so I may as well just waypoint. I wonder if it's in the cave under Cormyr, or it's like on the cliffs around above it. Neither are places that I've spent too much time. The Queen is actually up for spawning here. It's a shame. Have you guys noticed there's no like bounty trains going on and stuff? Do you think that's just because Halloween's rolling? There's a lost chest up there. Every time I hear Power Reaper, a part of you dies. Power Reaper's great in open world, man. It's really good. Extremely sturdy. Lots of like quality of life. Easy access to stab, CCs, sustain. Steady, consistent damage. It's extremely strong. Also, its solo capability to stack very high precision and might as well is also extremely strong. You know, those are important things in the open world. It drops off a lot in environments where you've got lots of support and other people to give you might and other people to provide vuln and all of that stuff. Ergo raids and higher things. And the coefficients would need to be a lot stronger and it would need to be changed a lot. But for open world, it's extremely strong. It's very fun in open world too. From the perspective that Power Reaper has a genuine place already and it doesn't need another, from that perspective, all these comments about ArenaNet hating Necromancer are kind of unfounded. Not that I believe that's the be-all and end-all, but I'm just going to float it out there. Bounty trains are mostly good when you're in the experience grind for mastery points. Not good enough of rewards to run them at the moment. Yeah, I wonder. The more time that passes, the more I want like a POF 2.0, you know? Oh god, I just reminded myself of the triple release again. Is that really going to be a triple release? Am I just taking that for a fact now because people said it earlier? But that's just normal Necro QQ. Yep. Basically. Do you think they would bundle POF 2.0 with balance on Tuesday? I doubt it. So that portal just takes us up into the temple itself, if I remember. So I doubt that's much of a thing. What about like on these plateaus up here? I don't remember ever going up there. So look at how much more we've learnt about this map today, guys. Look at this. Who the hell even needs to grind for POF masteries? Yeah, I don't know. You know, here's something I often wonder. You know, I've talked about a lot of times the idea of if Guild was just suddenly released, right? In its current state, how successful would the game be? How popular would the game be? With all of the quality of life and improvements and understanding of what it is supposed to be and blah, blah, blah. You know, if you could wipe the slate clean, right? And get rid of everyone's preconception of what's supposed to be fun about it and what is fun about it and all of that stuff. And, you know, the belief that it would actually be really, really, really well received and get a much bigger audience than I have. You know, we've talked about that many times. But another thing that I wonder about is imagine the entire MMO industry doesn't exist anymore. And all of a sudden, MMOs, popular MMOs of today, suddenly release. Specifically Western ones. I wonder whether the concept of grind would ever take off in the way that it does now. You know, people talk about, oh, grind with regard to Path of Fire Masteries. Do they really? Are they really grindy? Is that actually the same as old school MMO grind? Or is it just kind of a word now that's lost its original meaning and been diluted beyond the point of actually being relevant anymore? You know? Do you get what I mean? Like, I'm saying grind is still being used to describe things long after it's really become a much of a comment anymore, because just so much is listed as grind now. Is this still technically a loner reach? I don't know whether it is, really. I feel like it's not. Go play Silk Road. Yeah, so I'd have to be careful, because I think Eastern MMOs still can be very grindy and still have a lot of that stuff going on. And the thing is as well, you know, it's kind of a dim-witted thing for me to say, because grind is not exclusive to MMOs. It's just particularly focused on. Man, I don't know. What are we supposed to do here then? Somewhere around here, maybe? Vegetables. Oh, it could be like up in those rocks. One of the eggs for the griffin hunt was up in a rock like that. Sapling. Loving the Guild Wars 1 music playing right now. Grinding POF, ha 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 ha. Here's a question for you all. I'm going to make a statement, and let's just assume, let's not get argumentative over whether it's true, right? Because it's not the point of the chat. So let's just assume it's true, right? Let's assume, the statement is this, that Path of Fire has nothing to do and has no repeatable end game. Okay, so that's the statement. You might agree with it. A lot of people will agree with it. You might disagree with it. Some people probably disagree with that. Path of Fire has no repeatable end game. There's nothing to do in it. All right, so there you go. That's the statement. Now, moving on from that. What's worse for an MMO release? That it has nothing, that the main criticism is that it has nothing to do, no repeatable end game, and so on, and no content. I mean, it gets mislabeled by people. They say it's no content. It's not really no content. It's no, you know, excessive reason to continue participating in content. But anyway, so what's worse? That there's no repeatable content, or that it's too grindy? Which one is more dangerous for an MMO to gain, or an MMO expansion, an MMO product to have? Which one is more dangerous of a perception? And is that different for Guild Wars versus Path of Fire, versus other MMOs? Like, maybe it's not so damaging if the new WoW expansion is labeled as grindy, but maybe it is quite damaging if a Guild Wars expansion is labeled as grindy. Do the values shift? No content is way worse. And, like, we all appreciate, as we say, no content is worse. We all appreciate that that's just a value judgment. It's about how content is packaged, right? We all understand that. I really hope people do understand that. Because what you perceive as X content for Path of Fire is actually, you know, they could have packaged it in a way that would have made it take a lot longer to finish. And now it's so many more hours of content. But in terms of actual environments you travel through, story steps you do, masteries you obtain, stuff like that, it's not necessarily more content. It's just packaged differently. Man, I don't know about this one. I don't know. Maybe my problem is I keep going in the same places. You can't have a population with no content. What do you think about this? Is it the difference between getting people in versus retaining people? Is that it? So, like, the grindy world struggles to get people into the game because they hear on the street, oh, it's grindy. So you get less customers, but the customers you get stick about for longer, potentially spend more time in the gem store, find guilds, so on. So that world is, you know, a retention game, while the reverse is a player acquisition game. Where, oh no, it's not grindy at all. You can be done with it pretty quick. Go on, pick it up. And so you get lots of people. Is that the distinction? Somehow I feel like hearing that Path of Fire has no end game or Path of Fire has no content is really, really damaging. I agree with the people in chat right now who are saying that that's worse. I really do think that's worse. But I have quite a high threshold for grind. I even enjoy grind to a certain extent. ArenaNet's biggest mistake was to keep fractals separate from expansion releases. Most of the repeatable content from other MMOs come from instance content like dungeons. In Heart of Thorn's case, this was replaced with map-wide metas. For Path of Fire, there is nothing. Well, see, again, though, that's a perspective you've just put there, because actually there are, you know, this section of the Ellen Riverlands, right, is bigger than any Heart of Thorns map. Bigger as well is like a fucking, you know, a massageable term there, because we can talk about verticality versus how horizontal it is and so on. But anyway, that, just in terms of playable space, is bigger than a Heart of Thorns map. And the meta, one part of the meta, it covers the whole thing. How is that different to Verdant Brink Nighttime? Is an argument. Now, I actually think it's very different to Verdant Brink Nighttime. But, you know, to say that Path of Fire has no metas, again, we're talking about farm that's on metas. Not metas themselves. So someone there said fractals shouldn't be bound with expansion packs. So yeah, that was the main point that was being made. I don't know, I get what you're saying with that though. I really do. I feel like their decision to keep fractals as core and only ever core, and there was a developer comment on this on Reddit recently that really, you know, solidified that it is core content. And for the foreseeable future, it is core content. That won't be changing. Maybe that decision to do that has harmed them. It's more consumer friendly for all the free-to-play people and for those of us who don't have all the expansions, or at least the most recent expansion. But so why do you think they do that? Is it for player convenience? Is it that, or is it because they don't want to build infrastructure whereby X fractal is a Heart of Thorns one, Y fractal is a Path of Fire one, Z one is a Cogs of War one? And, you know, all of this other stuff. Someone said he found it. Really? So, Yilvar Harvbar found it. So, they're over there. Alright. They say, or I think I did. This one's been really hard, actually. I mean, mostly I'm just looking at chat now. I feel like it's more that infrastructure thing. They don't want... one of the worst things your MMO can do is... oh, you can't play with me because you don't have this product, and you can't play with me because you don't have this product, and this one, and this one, and this one, and fragmenting people like that. And as time goes by and more expansions release, that's only going to get worse. So they have to be really careful of it, and maybe that's why they're keeping fractals the way they are. What? It's right here? Seriously? Let's see, was that it? It was it! Congratulations, man. You found a pretty hard one there. Or it's just because I'm playing Brain Dead. I asked the devs on the stream if I'm allowed to ask them about the Rev skins. The answer was no, you can't. Ha! Who told you no, you can't, though? Was it a mod on the stream? Or was it, So the last one is in the Forged Foothold for me, and then I'm done. Forged Foothold. Alright, so that's where one of the big story steps takes place. And I've spent very little time in the open world, which would make sense as to why I don't have the bleach bones there. So let's go to the waypoint and just walk on over, I guess. And I'll try to walk in the same route that I remember the story takes us from one place to the other, which is over here, I think. The dev, it was on a Let's Play. Really? What? Let's Play? One of the devs is a Let's Player? I saw your comment about the Rev skins. I genuinely don't think that a dev knew anything about them. The Rev skins is like... I mean, there's not even a word for it. Like 6 months ago, I described it as a farce, how long they had been saying, yeah, Rev skins coming, and, you know, how they'd been hidden and how they hadn't come. I described it as a farce like 6 months ago, right? Or maybe even it was like a year ago. So what do we call it now? Like, it's just ridiculous. There's nothing else to say. It's just insane. I don't know what the hell is going on with it, really. We're going to get shot. I'll put some reflects up just in case. Oh, the reflected! Yes! That was a pretty hype way to finish it. Pretty hype. Oh, yeah. No specific reward, really, outside of just some AP. But I feel really good about that. That's awesome. So there's the Crystal Oasis. So now I just need 20 more makeshift weapons. And I have the Crystal Oasis done. Shit, I wasn't in water. Rip. Also, we're getting hit pretty hard, actually. We'll rebound just in case. Let it proc. Okay, now we have to start evading and playing carefully. The achievements up. Oh, he's playing a burn gun. Oh, well, firebrand, obviously. What do you mean bad rewards? What rewards do you actually want? What's this from? I mean, if you guys are talking about the metas, I do think that the rewards aren't really in it. I'm not sure about many of the Path of Fire reward systems, actually. Like yesterday when we were looking at the use for the leyline sand and the blessed things and, I don't know, the keys I don't think work very well, and I think the hidden jumping puzzle chest things around the area don't work very well, and I don't know, a lot of it just feels a bit convoluted and, I don't know, not readily enough apparent. I think they are still struggling with giving people meaningful rewards. They made some good progression with stuff like Inventory Wars too, definitely. And I think the bags were well done, but the bags aren't like super well integrated into the experience of Path of Fire. If Path of Fryer, the chicken nugget based expansion, if that had like 32 slot bag progression filtered throughout like loads of achievements and like currencies and stuff, maybe that could have been, you know, a bit better, but you know, it's mostly just hidden off in a little area, you know. And I wouldn't say it's a standard reward system. One unified map currency for the entirety of Path of Fire was what hurt the expansion. Do you want to go a bit deeper on that? That's an interesting thought. Enlighten me. Why is that your opinion? You might be right. I just don't know. Give me the follow through on that. Kaineng Fried Tengu. KFT. Baby. The epitome of ArenaNet's managerial sloppiness, just like their lack of consistency. They don't have good turn books for things. It seems to be done in a way which depends on the dev instead of having a good overview of different processes. Well, listen, I think they have made progress. If you look at like Heart of Thorns as laying the groundwork and then Path of Fire building on it, I think that they have got a lot more groundwork in place now for how certain things are done in this MMO. And I don't just mean big ticket systems like elite specializations or masteries. I think even in terms of smaller things as well, in terms of the way that they filter story throughout open world and then in instances, I think they found their feet with a lot of stuff, and that now that they know what the golden, you know, what the sweet spot is, I think we've seen with Path of Fire that they have, you know, they've carried on with that, and they've found their feet with a lot of aspects of Living World as well. One place though that they do seem very scattershot, and they seem very experimental, and they don't seem like they really nailed down anything that's any good, and there is that lack of consistency. I think one place definitely though is loot, and they're still finding their feet with loot. And it's a shame because that's such an important thing for MMOs, you know. The Guild Wars has always kind of, you know, missed. And, you know, I feel very strongly about that. You know, when I say, I don't go online and say that Guild Wars is bad as an RPG for no reason. Probably the most fun thing about the Griffin is the moment where you rise on it. It just feels good, you know. Ow, no! We bumped our head. We bumped our little noggy woggy. Oh, God. Noggy woggy. I just reminded myself of Star Trek Deep Space Nine right there. Okay, so we're going to go to the second map, and that is probably where we'll call it. The stream's already gone half an hour over. So, yeah, if you guys have got anything really specific and important you want to talk to me about, please do feel free. It's been a bit of a quieter stream. Thanks so much to that host from Jebro as well. I wonder if... Did we host him recently? He's hosted us like twice lately. I wonder if he knows if I've been lurking on some of his VR streams when there's like... It's a very homely feel. Hey WP, I quit Guild Wars 2 at the end of Flame and Frost Living Story update, and I'm currently re-downloading the game. Do you have any recommendations on any good guides to get me back into it? I'm throwing a wild guess that lots of things have changed. Dude, yeah, tons of things. Honestly, if I were you, I would just treat it as a totally new game. If you've got a character on that account, I'd delete it, just play again. And just try and rip off whatever you think you know about the game and just learn it again, because there's so much that's different. That said, there are some guides if you are adamant to try and build on what you already know and I mean, it really is a mountain, dude. There's a lot that's changed. If you want to go for that, the best one I really know of is Richie Procopio's Boomerang series, Guild Wars 2 Boomerangs. I kind of wanted this year to... Well, not kind of. I definitely wanted this year. I don't know whether it will happen anymore, though. I wanted to do, like, a new player guide, and maybe I will still find the time to do that. But Richie is one of the only really solid series out there. And even his... This is not, you know... I'm not trying to be mean about Richie's thing here. Even his has got a lot of different things that it could go into that it doesn't. And that's not Richie's fault. That's just that there's so much that's changed about the game. So but I would start there, I guess. Don't delete. Oh, what? Because of birthday presents. Listen, birthday presents aren't that important. You can leave it there. What I'm saying is make a new character, basically. Yeah, if he's got a spare slot, he can make a new character. That's what I'm trying to say, yeah. Ignore me about delete. You don't have to delete. You think it's getting kind of hard to keep positive with ArenaNet? They're the developers of a AAA MMO, and the quality of their work doesn't seem up to par with some other titles with similar audience sizes. Consistently inconsistent is something I've always said about them. Everything cut from rewards to QOL implementation, balance, updates. It's crazy. I shouldn't have to wait for a professional company to get their shit together organization-wise. I think, though, that when you have a company that cares so much, or cared so much about innovation and, you know, trying to do things that other people weren't doing, I think there needs to be a lot of freedom for devs to play around, and that's going to result in some inconsistency, I think. I think that's just sort of a, you know, a result of the culture, a culture that birthed quite a unique product in the first place. You know, without that ability to let them test things and play around, and without having an open mind to scrap and then scrap again and then scrap again and change and change and change, without that, you don't get stuff like SAB coming out and whatever. And the problems and the great things that came from SAB, you know, and so on. So I think it does rock the boat a lot, I think, definitely, on the Guild Wars side. Some people will respect that, some people won't. I don't really have any great opinions on this because I don't play other MMOs enough. AAA MMOs. You know, I don't know how well FF14 is done. I only have hearsay. I don't know whether it's genuinely actually any good, or whether it's cheesy bollocks shit that they do to artificially bloat their raids, or their story is actually any good, or it really is a cringy anime fair story if their leveling is really fast, or it's actually really slow. You know, these are all contradicting opinions that I hear all the time. And, you know, I don't know that. And I don't know about that WoW, with regard to WoW. And I don't really know that with regard to ESO. It would improve my perspective on Guild Wars 2. I do agree with you, Alestes. Great things from SAB, 8-bit cats. Come on, you'd be lying to say that SAB didn't rock this community and do very, very well. The bad stuff with SAB is, you know, the unfortunate consequence of then realizing they couldn't finish the project and it going away for as long as it did, and the community expectations that came from that, and the anger that came from that, and all that stuff. You know, there are pros and cons to it. Without WP, there would be no ArenaNet, says Yellow Red 20. And on that bombshell, he's leaking the real details there. On that bombshell that I am ArenaNet. Thanks very much for watching, guys. I'll be back tomorrow, same time. If you click the follow button on stream, you can be notified whenever I go live. The streams have calmed down a lot lately, probably because I'm not advertising as much or doing as many YouTube videos, but any support I get at the moment would be really, really, really nice. I feel like we're sort of on the, you know, the start of a downward slope before Living Wild comes back, so it'd be really cool to see you guys coming back. Anybody who subbed today, the donation from Ewendor as well. Let me just check I didn't miss any others. No, I didn't. All of that stuff will be really cool. So thanks very much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you very, very shortly. Tomorrow, same time. Catch you next time, everybody. Oh shit, yeah, the guild. Wait. Why am I in combat again? Why? Why can't I stop anywhere without being in combat? It feels like there's always an eel. Wait. We will do the thing. We will build the hall. Alright, ooh, bonus moment. Encore, guys. We will go build the hall up so that we can start getting our Ethereum in again. Come on, eel, please die. And then there's a long-lasting Condi on me. And then just as the Condi ticks off, I'm going to get attacked by a new eel. Right before the next waypoint. No, we're fine. Alright. Look at the achievements of POF. Djinn Slayer and Awakened Slayer. It's just sloppy and shows the lack of good processes. Really? Get cooped. It says have a good day. Thank you, I will indeed. So what was just sloppy about that? Path of Fire. Crystal Desert. What am I looking for here? Sorry, I'm trying to run at the same time. Sorry. Hold on. God, I'm all over the place. Crystal Oasis. Oh, no. It's just General and then Slayer, right? General. Slayer. What am I looking at that's wrong here? Look at the achievements from POF. Djinn Slayer and Awakened Slayer. So Awakened Slayer I've already got. Reaper of the Awakened. Slagger of the Forged. And Djinn Bottler. 100 kills total. 1,000 total. 4 tiers. 4 tiers. I wonder why they chose to cap that at 100, but they're happy to leave Giant Slayer at 1,000. That's odd. You'd think they'd just have that at 1,000 as well, given the way that this was. I don't see the point. Yeah, what's wrong with them? We were talking about consistency. There's nothing wrong with it. I would argue that this is absolutely excellent. I love that they put these in the game. And it's a sign of Path of Fire having the time to put in higher quality stuff. I like these. The icons. Oh. Yeah, that's the core Slayer icon, right? While this is the POF Slayer icon. I think. Is the difference. While this also still has the POF lighting. Yeah, I see. Okay. I mean, personally, I don't really see that as a big deal. That's just like a bit of... Yeah, that's a bit unprofessional and it's a bit inconsistent, but it's not a big deal. What I would say, actually, are the bigger deals are like the broader systems conflicting with one another, and when on a very large scale, the left hand doesn't know what the right's doing. But yeah, that would be another example. All right, so here we go. Hi, I'm Brian Clutchell. I'm a merchant and facilitator of commerce. I'm here to assist the guild in setting up a market. Who are you? Brian Clutchell. I used to run a shop in Garenhof. Now I work for the guild initiative and they take care of me. Well, wait, okay, so she's on the run from Garenhof, it seems. Well, when I say protect, you see, I may have overcharged a fellow named Isgaren. Bit of a mistake in math, nothing more so. Now here I am, fighting dragons with merchandise. Okay, I have another question. I want to establish a market. How do I do that? Well, you can establish a temporary marketplace in your guild hall while construction begins on the foundation for the full prize. So, we need 18 slot silk bags. We needed 18 mithril boxes, 18 thick leather packs, 70 mystic crystals, 20, 35 ecto, some trading post expresses, 100 cured hardened leather squares, ancient wood planks, orichalcum ingots, and some auric dust. With 1,000 Ethereum, which, of course, we needed to upgrade our storage to be able to get, and 250 favor. So there we hit level 7. And voila. There we have. Oh god, dialogue.
Make sure everything's perfect. So I'll go survey the build site.
Alright, he's going to go survey the build site. We'll follow him and then we'll stand there. How do you compare the composer for Heart of Thorns and POF compared to Soul for Vanilla, Guild Wars 2 and Guild Wars 1? I think that they've followed on and built on what feels like Guild Wars and added their own twist. And I think as time goes by, they can keep adding more and more and more of their own twist. The only thing I'd say in that department is I'd love it if they had like a person dedicated to Living World and then like a person dedicated to an expansion as well. Because I think McLean had to do it all last time. It would be cool to think that they've got a composer there that can just spend 2 years working on Cogs of War while McLean handles all the Living World stuff, and then that way we don't, like, compromise, essentially. Well, there is a compromise. That's the company's wallet, but I don't care so much about that. So many pumpkins. Yeah, people have been decorating with pumpkins. This is nice. Pumpkins are one of the earliest things you can really decorate with, and this is actually what you're looking at here.
It's a temporary setup, but it will suffice. We need more permanency if we want our customers to start forming habits. And by that I mean, if we want people to keep buying our goods.
The post-processing on his voice is very thick. It sounds like a robot almost. Anyway, check it out! So we built this up, and yeah, all the pumpkins, this is kind of like what it was like when HOT came out for early guilds, in that they would use the Deluxe tokens. Oh, look, somebody's dedicated their Heart of Thorns Deluxe Edition tokens, Vine Walls, to the Spud Club too. That's really cool. And pumpkins everywhere. That was kind of what it is. So we got helicopters and then the Vine Walls and stuff. Except now also there's fractal stuff going on, so we got some fractal dances and things. Anyway, I hope you guys have had fun decorating this stuff. And there you go. That is the end of the stream. Thanks very much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed. And if there's more discussion on various topics and stuff that you want to follow up tomorrow, I will be here at the same time, 5 till 7. I'll see you guys then. Catch you next time, guys.